All right. Here we go, guys.
It's a brand new day and she's back again. Get yourself a beverage, let's get settled in. It's Decon Q&A with CrystalJae. Hey, 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 all our favorite heathens gathered in one place. All our questions answered, our favorite creators on display. It's Decon Q&A with CrystalJae. Hey, hey. Hey. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get ready for the fun. Decon Q&A with CrystalJae.
Welcome in, everybody. It's Decon Q&A with CrystalJae, and I'm so excited because today's special guest is all the way from Australia, Daniel Green. Yay! Hi, Daniel.
G'day.
How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you so much for having me on. I feel very special. I feel very special.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I think it's really sweet when people tell me they feel like it's special to be here because I just love having you guys all here. Like, I feel like I get to sit down for 3 hours and just talk to and get to know my friends, you know, and so it's pretty exciting for me. Hey, Spencer. Hey, Cam. Cam, let me know if that is up and running over on the Deconstruction Junction YouTube. We're live today on TikTok. We're live on my YouTube, and I think we're live on the Deconstruction Junction YouTube as well. Daniel, I don't know if you've ever seen one of my shows, and if you haven't, that's okay because we're on different time zones anyway, but I'm going to tell you how I like to run the show. I start the show by doing some icebreaker questions that I ask you just for the fun of it, and then we're going to invite people to come up, ask you their questions, and at the end, we're going to play everybody's favorite game, Divine or Decline. You guys, if you're a subscriber, take a minute and look at the new emojis I gave you, crystal balls. So check those out. If you haven't subscribed, think of doing so today. It's less than a cup of coffee a month. You're subscribed to Netflix, Hulu, Paramount Plus, and the Disney Channel, and you don't watch any of those because you're here every day, 365 days out of the year, hanging out with all of us. So cancel some of those subscriptions and come over here and subscribe to people like myself and Daniel who give you more bang for your buck. Yeah, aren't those cute? I love my little emoji stickers. Yay! I think they're adorable. Well, let's get started right into the yeah, I can talk. The icebreaker questions.
Okay, let's do it.
Are you ready for these hard-hitting journalistic?
I'm about as ready as I think I can possibly be. So, hit me.
Okay. All right, here we go. What was your favorite hobby as a kid?
Oh, my favorite out of all of them. I had many hobbies. I'd say favorite hobby. It's so hard to say. I actually, to be fair, I played drums since I was like 3, and once I hit high school, I kind of really doubled, tripled down on it. I used to play a lot of drums. I feel like it was just such an effective way for me to just kind of unwind at the end of the day. You know, get back home from school and just wanted some space from my parents. So I just go into our music room and just lock all the doors and just kind of let it rip. That was probably my favorite, actually. Cool. Yeah,
that would have been cool. My parents would have never in a million years bought a drum set for any of their children. They were like, hell to the no, you're not having one of those. But we did. I grew up in Southern California, so there were plenty of garage bands around. You know, there was always some garage bands around to go listen to. I think my favorite hobby as a kid was just art. I love art. I love drawing. I love painting. I love, you know, using different mediums. So I think anything artsy was one of my favorite hobbies. Anytime I could create.
Oh, I get that. When I have the time, which I don't usually these days, but when I have the time, I do a bit of illustration as well. It's just it feels great, right?
It really does. It really does. It's very relaxing, and it's just I don't know, just expressing. Sometimes, like just even marveling at something I've created, where I'm like, wow, that's wild. I drew that. You know, like
It came out of me.
I even, yeah,
Mm.
that's crazy. Who knew? Would you rather box a kangaroo or Mike Tyson?
Are these like? I think
I
it'll
had
be a
to
whole
ask
bunch
you an
of
Australian question. I
I was gonna
had to
ask.
throw an Australian
Mm.
question in there. Like you knew it was coming. It has
I
to
I
happen.
knew it. I knew it. And next one's gonna be, would you rather throw a shrimp on the Barbie or a Barbie on a shrimp or something? Um,
They're not all
I
gonna be like that, but there might be a
I
few.
would I would rather box a kangaroo. I
Really?
think Mike Tyson would probably, I think he'd probably just shatter my skull with one hit. Whereas a kangaroo, I think, I think I'd have the agility on a kangaroo. It's easy to see when
Hmm.
they're lining you up. I don't know if you know much about
Okay.
boxing kangaroos, but they
No.
they use their tail. Well,
Yes, I've
growing up in
seen them
Australia,
lean back on it.
yeah, I mean, when you grow up in Australia, boxing kangaroos is something you kind of have to learn about pretty quickly, otherwise you're a goner. Um,
Oh wow.
it's just part of the deal here. So you get pretty good at identifying what their next move is going to be. So when they start getting on their back tail, uh, sorry, on their tail, leaning back into it, or they're about to go for a strike. So you just got to make a lateral movement and then come in with the left hook. So I feel like I've got a bit more training boxing
All
kangaroos and
right.
humans. Yeah, yeah.
Well, who knew? I
No,
thought Mike
I'd
Tyson.
never hit a kangaroo. They're beautiful.
I thought Mike Tyson just because I saw him box. What was it, Jake? Whoever that dude that he boxed, and it
Yeah.
looked like he was tired. He was really, really tired. So I
Oh,
don't know.
hold
I
on.
was thinking,
No, you're right. He's old now, isn't he?
yeah, he's
Yeah.
really
Sorry.
old
Okay.
now,
Okay. No,
and
sorry.
he's very tired.
Yes. Okay. All right. No, that's fair. And he's okay. Well, look. Hmm. Maybe Mike Tyson then.
Okay, all right. See, all right,
Yeah.
and that's how you win a debate with Daniel Green, right there, ladies and
You just
gentlemen.
gotta you just gotta make valid points. I'm gonna
Right,
concede if you make valid
exactly.
points.
Exactly. Okay, so here is another similar question. Who would you rather arm wrestle, Mezzo or Joel?
Oh, jeez. I think they're
See, I
both
think
quite
with
tall, aren't they?
Mezzo, if you see the fingernail polish, it might like shine in your eye. You might get distracted for a minute.
That's
But,
fair.
Joel might make you laugh your ass off while you're trying to arm wrestle him, and then he'll, come in for the kill. I don't know. Like, it's
Yeah.
tough.
I don't know how tall they really are, but they both seem like they're quite tall to me. And
Yeah.
I'm like 5'11". I'm like just shy of 6 foot, so I feel like they'd have the arm length on me anyway. There's no winning. I'm not winning against either of them.
You're
So
not winning against either one of them.
I feel like
Okay.
I'll go Joel because he lives in Canada. I don't want to have to visit the US. If I go, if I've got to go fly over to the US to arm wrestle Mezzo, I'm not feeling it. So I'll go to Canada to see
Okay.
Joel instead.
Fair enough. I think that I would arm wrestle Mezzo because I feel like Mezzo is the type of person who, if he was arm wrestling me, he would probably give in. And Joel would not let me, no, he would be like, no, we're going all the way, you're going down. So I'd have to go with Mezzo.
This is understandable.
If, if you had to pick one animal that is native to Australia to be your favorite animal of all time, why is it the wallaby?
Oh, look. It's hard to go past the wallaby. They're so bloody
I,
cute. What can I
they
say?
are so
Um,
cute, but there are really cute animals in Australia. What is really one of your favorite animals that is native to Australia?
oh man, I've got a real privileged position where I live too, because I live literally 2 minutes away from one of the most famous wildlife sanctuaries in Australia. So I'm there like
That's cool.
every few weekends with my daughter. So I've got all this up close and personal time with all of them. Um, man, it's so tricky. Koalas are really dumb. Like they
They
have
are
among
dumb.
the smoothest brains in the animal kingdom.
They're so
Um,
dumb. They're so cute though.
they are cute
They
though.
really are cute.
What else? Platypus are pretty cool. They are venomous though. Like they have that
Oh,
venomous
I
spine
didn't
at the
know
back.
that. Hmm.
Yeah, super
Did
weird.
not know that.
Very. They're just like it's just another reason to think that platypuses are from outer space. Um,
Yeah.
look, honestly, it is. You're right. It is hard to go past the wallaby. They're so cute. They're like a
They are
fun-sized
really
kangaroo,
cute.
and they're all fuzzy
They
and
really
fluffy. And
are.
yeah,
And
that's
I
fair.
think
I'd
the
actually
shoes
I will go
that
with
were
the wallaby.
named. Okay, I'm going with the wallaby too. And to tell you something, you remember back, well, you don't remember, but back in the day, there were shoes called wallabies, and everybody wore them. They were cool suede shoes. We should bring those back too. That's all I'm saying. Bring back the wallaby. Um,
There'd be a market for them for sure. Mezzo's just said
for
in the
sure.
chat. Honestly, if you picked me, I'd just trick Joel into doing it for me anyway. See, this is another reason why I wouldn't go to Mezzo. It's just not a fair fight.
See?
All this
See?
underhanded. Well, I mean, what do you expect? Come
What, right? Exactly. Okay, let's see. What is something about your wife that makes you so proud?
on. She is she is like a just a really positive force in anyone who knows Alex knows her for just being so unbelievably positive. She's just supercharged with like just
She seems
keen
that way in the
energy.
chat and stuff. She has really great energy.
Yeah, she's amazing. I feel like her kind of indomitable spirit. I think I just feel because she's been through a whole bunch of stuff, like we all have. But she's been through a whole bunch of stuff that would would really rock a lot of people. But yeah, she's just so resilient. Her positivity, I think, is just like it's just amazing to me. I find myself quite inspired by it every day.
I like that. I like that a lot. You guys, as you join us, please start tapping the screen. If you enjoy Decon Q&A with CrystalJae, please send me the love. I have a gift goal of 666 roses. Hail Satan. And also, I am looking for more subbies. If you haven't subscribed, think of doing so today. It's less than a cup of coffee a month. If you're already subscribed, consider sending out some subbies to the chat because they love receiving free subscriptions to their favorite creators. Also, if you're a subscriber, drop some of your favorite stickers in the chat so everybody can see. We do some lives that are. I don't do a lot of subscriber only lives because I feel bad because it would be with another creator, but I am going to be doing a few very special subscriber only lives. So if you want to be a part of that, make sure you're subscribed today. Hey, Zip Zop, thank you so much. Is the most memorable place you've ever visited?
Oh, I'm gonna have to list them out real quick so that I remember where I've been. So I've been to New Zealand, been to Thailand, Vietnam, Bali, the UK, France, Luxembourg, out of nowhere. Oh man, that's so tricky. I feel like this is really hard for me. I'm gonna struggle with this one because there's something so differently memorable about all these places. I feel like we got back from Europe at the start of this year. No, sorry, start of last year. That's the most recent one. I'd have to say Luxembourg or France. They're just amazing. They're just really beautiful places. Perhaps France. Perhaps France. When we were in Paris, uh, visiting some of the historical sites there and seeing some of the like medieval architecture that they've got going on over there, literally just kind of blew my mind. I was just like floored by it. Visiting the Pantheon, this enormous marble, sandstone, granite building that they built towards the end of the French Revolution. Or was it the Enlightenment? Anyway, sometime where the church was still in power and the secularists took it over before it was finished, and they finished it themselves and kind of dedicated it to like rationality and progress and new ideals. Walking through there, spending an afternoon in there, that really kind of that hit different. That was amazing. I might have to say France, just by a tiny bit. Yeah.
I have not traveled very far. I've traveled throughout the entire United States. And I know that's a lot more than most people in the United States have done. And I've traveled to Mexico. But in the United States, like my favorite places are our national parks, like Yosemite and Yellowstone. Yellowstone is probably really one of my favorite. But Mezzo went to Oregon once. I think Mezzo's from Oregon, but the Pacific Northwest, by the way, is gorgeous. So I don't know. I do love the Pacific Northwest, so it might be the Pacific Northwest.
What is Mezzo talking about? I put Oregon on my pizza. What's he talking about? Like
that's oregano, Daniel. That's oregano.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
Oregon is this little state, not really well known, in between California and Washington. That's why it gets forgotten, because it's in between those two more important states.
And it gets a bit kind of, pushed out of the scene by oregano so often.
Yes, it does. It does. What besides your loved ones, what besides your family and stuff motivates you?
Oh, man. For me personally, I think a lot about, there's probably a couple of things I think about most. For me, I think a lot about being the kind of person that I needed when I was younger. I feel like that does a lot of heavy lifting for me. I didn't really have anyone when I was younger that I felt as though I could honestly go to and talk about anything with. And when I finally did in my adulthood, it just felt like just such a massive weight was lifted, and to be better and better at being that kind of person for other people, that feels really fulfilling for me. I feel like that keeps me going like nothing else. I think also because I have a daughter now, I think so much more than I used to about the kind of world that I'm contributing to.
Yeah.
I think about that a lot too. That motivates me a lot. Wanting to leave the world in a better state than it was in when I came into it, not just for her, but for, if she decides to have children.
Right.
Or if her children decide to have children, I'd really love to, like, on my deathbed, I'd really love to know that I did my best to make things a little safer, a little healthier, a little just a little better in some way for everyone. Now that I won't be there to speak up on my own behalf,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, these are great questions. These are great questions.
Thank you. I think for me, besides my loved ones and how much they motivate me, I think now as I'm older and as I am coming out of my indoctrination and starting to really get to be my own person this late in life, I think that what motivates me is little Crystal and what she would have wanted for my future. She motivates me very much.
Little Crystal would have thought you were a badass.
I hope so. I hope so.
Sure.
Sometimes I think she would be like, "What? Why did you let all that happen? You were smarter than that." But
it was never your fault, Crystal. It was never your fault. We're thrust into this. You did a great job. You did a great job.
I know. We do get thrust into it. Okay, so there's so many forms of entertainment out there now. So I hate to ask somebody like, what is your, favorite television show? Because you might not watch really television or what have you. But what for you is your favorite go-to form of entertainment right now.
Oh man, I'm so addicted to TikTok.
Me too.
I have a
Me
full
too.
blown TikTok addiction at this point. I mean, the second I'm absolutely that dad who spends 10 minutes in the bathroom every time I go because I like I just got to see who's on. I just got to see who's debating right now.
That's so funny.
Between TikTok and YouTube, I think I just consume just so much debate content. Honestly, so much debate content. Uh, Usually when I'm driving, usually I'll have it on, so I'm making the most of my time when I'm not driving. But
Yeah,
what can we say? These
right.
mediums are just so effective at
They
allowing us to
are.
communicate with each other. I'm so sucked in. I just love it.
I remember as a Christian conservative, I listened to talk radio a lot because, that's who
Yeah,
talk radio
yeah,
is for, right?
yeah,
And the thing about TikTok is it's like that. Only if I want to, I can express myself too, either in the chat.
yeah.
Like all I could do on talk radio was yell at the talking heads, like whether they were on TV or in my car or whatever. That's not what that means, Bill
Right.
O'Reilly, or whatever. But
But now
now
you
I
get to
can,
be the
yeah,
talking head.
I could be the talking head, or I can respond in chat, or send a super chat to somebody, or something like that. I
Is
get to
it not so
interact.
strange? Oh, it's crazy, isn't it? Is it not so
Yeah.
strange being on the other side of it now, like being the one that people tune into and
Oh yeah.
like scream at you in your DMs and that kind of thing. Like,
Yes.
it's just
I
fascinating, isn't
love
it?
my fan mail. It's my favorite when they're like, just. If I say the awful things, everybody goes, "Oh, Crystal," but I find it funny because I wouldn't have found it funny when I was in my 30s or 40s. Something about
Yeah,
getting close to your 60s, the stuff that people say to you, you think, wait, you think that I've survived all these years and that would hurt my feelings?
yeah,
That's not even close, you know?
yeah. I
But
I,
they're
I
funny to
feel
me.
that. I so feel that. I think that I was a high school teacher for 8 years, and I think after like 2 years in a high school environment, I think you develop a pretty thick skin, right? Like I feel very lucky to have developed it so early. I can't wait till I'm 60. I'm not going to give up. You know what I mean? I'm going to be
Yeah,
unstoppable. Um,
right? You just get
yeah.
tougher and tougher. You start to realize, oh man, that doesn't bother me at all anymore.
No, no, not
You
at all.
start to wonder too, like, why did it bother me so much when I was younger? Hey, you guys, we
Yeah.
have a little flash goal right now. It's the heart me's. If you haven't sent a heart me up to me, they're just 1 coin each, and I need everybody who can send one up if you can.
I got you. I got you. There it is.
All right, all
Booyah.
right. So, what's your favorite clean joke?
Favorite clean joke. I don't know. A man walks into a laundromat. No, I don't know.
You told one similar to my favorite one, like yesterday or something. I heard you say it. Um, so I'll tell you mine. It's two men walk into a bar. You would have thought the second guy would have seen the first guy.
Oh yeah, classic stuff. How do you go past that?
I don't know. I like that joke. It's just so dumb.
I do quite like a good self-aware joke. I think
Yeah.
I think that the first time you read a self-aware joke when you're a child, it changes something in you. You're like, oh, wow, this is clever. Yeah, I like that too. Yeah, look, I couldn't tell you. I think why did the chicken cross the road to get to the other side? That's a banger. Especially when you
Yes.
use it not on adults, unless you're trying to make it as awkward as possible. Unless you like want people to think that you're kind of an idiot, um, which can be fun as well. But I think when you use it on kids, just getting to be again on the other side of that now as an adult and watching the kids just be like, I, I don't I don't understand.
Yeah.
For me, that's so funny. I love that.
I
Um,
always loved Why is Six Afraid of Seven? Because seven, eight, nine. As a kid, that was just like that. That
yeah,
was comedy gold right there.
right,
It
right.
was- um,
And let's be honest, like
Yeah.
we've not gone much farther than that, have we? Like we're
No.
it is the little
No.
things.
We have.
Even when you're an adult, it is the little things.
It's true. It's true. You guys, this is my last question for Daniel, and that means it's your time to start requesting to come up. Come on up. If there's nobody in the guest box, you'll be as you want. We ask that you are respectful. You don't ask personal questions, but yeah, come on up. It's not a debate space, but come on up. And if you're too shy to come up, you can ask the questions in chat. That goes for you over on YouTube. If you're in the Deconstruction Junction and you send a super chat, somebody's got to let me know because I don't always see them because I'm not like logged in all the time to that account. So here is the last question. What's your favorite way to treat yourself to something special?
Oh, I'm a little bit notorious for not doing that. Um, I live kind of like I'm a little bit monk-like in that I'm a bit of a minimalist. I kind of prefer as little fuss as possible being made over me. Man, I don't really know how to answer this one. Look, honestly, I I get off on hot chocolate these days. I feel
All
like it's
right, that's
I
good.
I just kind of run off of hot chocolate, so that works for me. Hey folks, what's good? So good to see you. Um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I just don't need much special. I feel like being alive for a moment, you know, for just the blink of an eye in this stretch of you know surreality that is the universe we found ourselves in. That to me alone is already very special. Like I'm just constantly kind of amazed by the new things I learn about physics and chemistry and biology and cosmology and stuff. I don't really find myself wanting anything fancy or anything. It doesn't really come up for me. It doesn't really come up for me. I think
Hot
honestly, I think
chocolate is a very nice way to treat yourself. I
yeah,
think
it works
that
for
it
me.
is like, yeah, absolutely. Um, I love that. Radio Spencer, welcome. How are you today?
I am so awesome now. I can't believe I'm on with Crystal, Daniel, my bromance. I mean, my bro, and and Zip. I've really been enjoying you. I recently discovered just how amazing your lives are, and I've been in them almost every chance I can get. So I just wanted to say hi to you guys. I got to get ready for work here in a bit, but um, Daniel, both of you guys actually. How do you? All three of you actually. How do you keep your patience as well as you do? Because this is kind of my talk radio hothead days, I guess, where I thought I could turn down my temper, and I usually can, but all of you get some of these people that I just flip my lid over. Like if I had hair, I would just like it would all go shooting off the top of my head like a porcupine. Um, I
That's
don't
why I
know how
keep the
you.
beanies on. That's why I wear so many hats just to keep my hair on.
I don't know how. And I know you get some quips in there, and you get some. I mean, you're all great with the way you deal with people, but I've never heard Crystal scream. I've never heard Zip can get angry with
Oh,
people, but he does it very almost like poetically. Daniel, you're always so. Your voice is so melodic. Um, any tips for like a hothead like me, like when you, because we're all talking to the same people, we're all answering the same questions over and over and over again, and
Yeah. No, this is I get this question a lot. And I have like so many different little tips and tricks that I am constantly reminding myself because I find myself getting worked up all the time. I just think I honestly I grew up in a household where I wasn't really allowed to blow up. You know what I mean? Like getting
yeah,
angry was naughty. Getting angry was yeah, it was a bit sinful. You get what I mean? It wasn't very Christ-like.
yeah,
And obviously now I've read the Bible, I get that's absolutely not true. But that was the message that I got. So I think I grew up just just kind of compressing it all anyway. And obviously that's not healthy. And in my adulthood, I've had to unpack a whole bunch of that, and I feel much better about feeling angry these days. But I've just along the way, I've learned all these tips and tricks, I guess. Specifically, I'd say that for deconstructing people or contributing to people's deconstruction, at least, I think a lot about what helped me most when I was really starting to wake up to the reality a little bit. I think what helped me the most, honestly, were people like Alex O'Connor, people like Sam Harris, um, other people like this, like the people who were really measured and could explain things clearly without taking something personally.
Hmm.
You know, even when they were in debate with someone who was like directly targeting them, they just either they were acting unfazed or they were just really emotionally intelligent and they just knew how to process it really quickly. I found that their content helped me arguably more than someone like Christopher Hitchens or something. And don't get me wrong, Christopher Hitchens is one of my all-time favorites, and I got a lot out of him. Um, but I think, yeah, I think a lot about what helped me most, and I just try to kind of emulate that a bit, to be honest. I kind of, yeah, I guess I combine that with my childhood trauma, and
Yeah.
and yeah, and I think also having been a teacher for a while, if you're not patient, I mean, you just don't last. So I had a lot of practice dealing with complete irrationality fueled by teenage hormones. That has definitely made me more patient. And also, I'm studying counseling at the moment too. So psychology is just a passion of mine. I feel like I've just learned so much about how the brain works and how to manage my own as well as how to make someone else's most receptive to what it is that I'm saying, especially if it's something that goes directly against what they believe. So yeah, there's all these little tips and tricks that help
Yeah.
me keep my cool, I'd say.
You
But
remind
lots
me
of
of like
practice,
the.
obviously.
Oh, sorry.
I feel that's overwhelmingly the case with people in the psychological field is they go into this as more of to help themselves
Hmm.
than
Oh yeah,
anything else. And you recognize the things about yourself that you went into this thing about and you kind of take a step back. And as Daniel said, it's kind of a little bit our trauma too, um, and kids will do it to you for sure. Like kids will test you to the nth degree.
Oh yeah.
But just going through all of this through our lives, and like me, I recognize that I have this. I recognize that I have this hot-headedness about me, and if I don't regulate that, then I can explode, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I won't put that on anyone.
That's awesome. Crystal, someone in the chat said, "You've never heard Crystal scream?" And I go, "No, actually, I have."
Right? I'm really shocked you haven't heard that because
I can
I
hear it from
have.
Australia sometimes.
See, Daniel knows. I
I mean, I
have
hear you
no.
get upset with. I mean, you definitely stand your ground and get upset with people, but I've never heard you like, or if we were in the same house, I think I'd hear you across the house or anything. But
I
maybe.
can I can yell a bit. It's usually because somebody's a bigot, a racist, a homophobe, or
Hmm.
being very misogynistic to me and telling me to
Yeah.
shut the f up or something like that.
Yeah.
And I've tried recently to not even entertain that. I'm trying so much better.
Yeah.
I keep telling Joel, like, because he's like, teasing me that, but because in my bio it says I'm a nice lady. So I always tell I'm a nice lady. I'm trying to convince myself, I think, Spencer.
It is
I
also
am an-
it's so difficult in this space because we spend so much time conversing like face to face, well, through our smartphones with people who are saying absolutely horrific things, and anger is the appropriate response. Like outrage is the appropriate nervous system response to being on the end of the receiving end of some of the things that they're saying. So there's nothing wrong with any of us feeling angry, right? Like I think that's such a frustrating part of the job. I think, like I feel like it's a bit of a job.
is.
Is that you know you can't help it, but I just know enough now to know that I'm going to be more effective if I can just remember certain principles.
Sure.
That's how I
but
feel now too. I
yeah,
really feel like you're more effective. And what I've learned, may I say, by watching you, watching the way Mezzo talks with people, not so much
mm,
Joel. I'm not going to talk about him. Ew. No, I'm just kidding, Joel. No, and just some like Fee. If you guys know who Fee is, she does this kind of similar thing and stuff. But when I listen to you guys talk, and they are saying some of the most horrendous things I've ever. Hi, Joel. Um, is that you guys will ask more questions instead of I'm immediately going like inside my blood is boiling and I want to fight, and you guys will come back and say something like, well, do you, like, let's say they say something, misogynistic, like, so does that mean that you think that you're better than like your mom or whatever? Like, you'll just ask them a
yeah,
question to make them
Yeah.
go deeper instead of, going on the defense. And I like that because it makes them explore themselves and who they are and why they're saying the things they're saying. And I think it's
oh,
more effective than
absolutely,
losing your shit like I do.
and it gives the audience like more insight into like the depths of these people's minds as well, which is always entertaining. I think I'm pretty heavily influenced also by like Louis Theroux. Um, Louis Theroux, like growing up, I remember watching his content. Do we all know who Louis Theroux is?
No, I don't. I don't. I don't think.
Oh, he's the guy. He's from the UK. He looks very straight laced, like he could just be an accountant or something. But he's the guy who would go and interview like the KKK or
Oh, wow.
Scientologists or that kind of thing. And he's just so he's a journalist. He knows exactly what he's doing, but he has this outwards appearance of just being a total nerd who's got no idea what he's wandered into. It's all a bit of an act. He's kind
Oh,
of like
Oh,
he's kind of
gotcha.
like silently clowning them the whole time, and he just gets the absolute wildest stories out of these people.
I may be familiar, just not with the name, but yeah, this sounds
Maybe,
familiar.
yeah, he's fantastic like that. I feel like an approach like that gets just wild stuff out of people too. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Well, I'm going to drop down. I have to head out. But you guys, when I saw this panel, I was like, wow, these are three. Honestly, it's three of my favorite people. I know I say that to every three people that are on panels, but I'm just kidding.
Well, we
I'm
love
just
you
kidding.
too, Radio. If you
No, I
guys are
appreciate it.
following Radio Spencer, follow him
I
now.
appreciate it.
Do it
And I'm
now.
having a really bad hair envy day because all three of you have. It's unbelievable. I mean, you guys have enough hair for like this entire chat. I don't understand how some people have enough to go around, and guys like me.
Mine's
I
just
got it.
illusion. It's just an illusion.
I'll send you some if you want. I'll send you some next time
Oh
I go.
gosh, please. I'll DM you.
Yeah,
Anyway,
done.
Daniel thinks I'm kidding. Well, you guys take care, all right, and have a wonderful rest of your show. And big fan of
Thank
both of
you.
you, and love you guys.
You too, man. You too, man. Much
Thank
love.
you, Spencer.
Thank you.
It looks like Zipsop had a drop. You guys, the guest box is open. If you have questions for Daniel, come on up. Now's your time. I know that a lot of you have questions when we are watching him live. Don't be shy, or you can ask your questions in chat. If I miss one, will one of my mods, holler out to me, let me know or something. If not, I've got a few more questions of my own. So, how would you describe your initial introduction into Christianity? Were you indoctrinated since you were a small child, or is there another?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, indoctrinated for sure. It was a case of being born into a family who believed very strongly with I mean when it comes to my dad was raised by missionaries. My dad grew up in the Papua New Guinean highland jungle until he was 6 years old, as that's where his parents were missionaries, and so he was raised in it as well. And then he kind of went off the rails a little bit, and got himself in trouble, and then was born again later in life, before I was born the first time, and it met my mum in that kind of newly born again stage. My mum was raised by a pastor, so her whole life she'd been in it too. So that's the hand that I was dealt. So raised by thoroughly religious people who were raised by thoroughly religious people, even in positions of authority in their communities. So Yeah, indoctrinated since childhood, absolutely. Um, you know, given lots of silly answers to lots of really good questions. I was very confused growing up about a lot of stuff, um,
Yeah, me too.
and a lot of misinformation, like relatively sheltered from a lot of stuff that really would have helped to have been made aware of. Um, but yeah, so it was childhood indoctrination for me. That was it's a hell of a drug, that one.
Yeah.
Making your way out of it. Anyone who kind of converts in adulthood and then makes it out again, go you, honestly. Like, that's fantastic stuff. To any of you in here who have made it out of childhood indoctrination, you you've you've done so much work. You should be so proud of yourself. You've not given up in the face of, an entire childhood's worth of hardcore psychological manipulation. You've done an amazing job, truly.
Absolutely. Shattered Foundations. Is that
Hello.
Tahir there? Or hello, Tahir. You guys, this is Shattered Foundations, Reconstructed Self, the podcast. If you are not following this account, take a minute, follow the account. They have a podcast on the Deconstruction Junction YouTube channel. And what they do is interview people who have deconstructed. And then they talk about what are the things that they are doing to now reconstruct and find themselves in and after religion.
Love
Yep.
that. That's awesome.
May or may not have interviewed Crystal. That remains to be seen.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Hey.
Thank you, Crystal. I appreciate that.
No
So,
problem.
Daniel, I was trying to think, like, what am I most curious about? Like, as somebody who is obviously not Australian, and I love food. I'm big on food, and I apologize if you guys already touched on some of the favorites, but I just would like to know, what are your favorite, like, foods, like snack foods, your favorite meals? Because there's gotta be differences. There's gotta be.
Okay. I go through tubs of hummus. So I mean, I don't know if that's a thing over where you guys live.
I love
It
hummus.
is. I don't like it though, personally.
I will look more for me. I could eat it with a spoon. I go
Do
crazy.
you
for
like
it.
plain hummus? Do you like it with garlic? Do you like a little roasted red pepper? How do you like your hummus?
Oh, however it comes. I'm not fussy. I don't discriminate. I just throw it in me.
Just
and,
hummus.
and
Okay.
it just keeps me ticking over for one. But I think between hummus and I don't know if you guys have these things where you live. They're in the shape of like a green bean. They're a chip, right? They come in a packet, but they're shaped like a green bean.
Oh.
They're called like harvest snaps or pea snaps or something.
Yes.
Thank you, Schley.
Love those.
I could literally, like, if I'm not paying attention, I'll go through a bag and I'll put a hole through the bottom looking for the next handful. It's crazy. There's something about, I don't know what's in them exactly. There has to be a little bit of crack or something. It's just,
I
you
forget
can't,
that.
can't stop. It's wild.
Yeah, they're good.
What else?
What do you dip in your hummus? Do you dip fresh
Oh,
veggies? Do you
just-
dip pita?
Just my hand. I just scoop it out. Like, no, not really. Not just like anything like crackers and pretzels and veggies and stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah, absolutely. I also, Vegemite. No, whoever said Vegemite, absolutely not. Vegemite. I don't. I might not be a Christian anymore, but Vegemite is of the devil.
Is it?
It's
I was
horrific
gonna
stuff.
ask about that.
My husband just walked around the corner and he goes, Vegemite. And he can't hear you guys, okay? He can only hear my responses and he goes, Vegemite, Vegemite.
Your husband can take all the Vegemite he wants. I don't want any of it.
I don't know that he's ever had. Dad, have you ever had Vegemite? No. Me neither. We have it over here, but I've never tried it. And we
Don't
only have
believe
it
the
over
hype.
here because of this song, We would have never had it without the song.
Right, exactly. No, Vegemite is like, for me, I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. You bring it into my house. I'm gonna have to get an exorcist in to clean my house. But yeah, no, I think like hummus, pea snaps, and what else? I mean, I go through a lot of pizza. I can't lie. I go through a lot of pizza. Homemade stuff, but yeah, I make pizza like crazy.
You're a very, very interesting person. Don't get me wrong, but that answer was boring. I
Oh, super.
wanted some
Yeah.
cool Australian foods. You eat the same
Oh,
things I
sorry.
eat.
I forgot the like the wombat steaks and the great white shark fillet
There you go. That's
and
more like
the
it.
yeah, and I mean the mosquitoes here are huge. They're so big you can eat them as well. Like we fry them up and yeah, I mean, is that more what you were looking for, Sam?
That's what
Yeah,
she was hoping
that's
for.
more like it.
Yeah, cool.
No,
Yeah.
it's just because like I've heard British people talk about some of the things that they eat, and it's just kind of like, wait, what? So I don't know. I guess I was wondering if it was
Oh,
the same thing.
I mean, not really. Like even we look at like like traditional British snacks, and we're like, oh Jesus, why would you do that?
Right.
Like it's for us, it's like
That's
really gross.
hilarious.
I mean, in Australia, we have like meat pies. So instead of fruit pies, we have pies with like minced meat inside. And I'm vegan, so I don't eat the.
That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I don't eat the like the actual animal meat ones anymore, but the vegan ones, like they're delicious. I can stand by a meat pie. They're fantastic.
pie.
Joel wants to know if you drink slushies through a didgeridoo. Do you do
didgeridoo?
that? Yeah, do you do that?
Yes, but you need to either have a massive slushy cup, or you have to have a tiny little novelty didgeridoo to get it into the normal size cup. So it's tricky. You gotta come prepared either way.
Joel knows all
Um,
about big cups. He drinks out of vases, so
I know
that's right up
he
his
drinks out
alley.
of a vase. But I
We
think
probably
I haven't beat today with my water bottle because, like, look how big my water bottle is. It's
Yeah,
so
nice.
ridiculous.
I got
It's embarrassing to
one.
drink it on the camera. Actually, Shattered Foundations tie here. Did you like? I can teach you how to say something in Australian. You want to learn?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so all you have to do is put these three words together. Okay, and you will sound so Australian. Are you gonna do it if I tell you what they are?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so just say good eye, like like if I saw something coming at me, it was flying at me, and I moved out of the way, you would say good eye, right?
Mhm.
And then just say mate afterwards. Do that.
Good eye, mate.
See, you sound Australian. Like it's amazing.
I know. I love the Aussie accents. Love you, Daniel. Want to make sure you get your flowers.
Oh, you're so kind. I feel like I'm not needed here anymore. To be honest, you guys can probably just take it away at this point. I've been made redundant.
You are not redundant. Okay. Thank you, Ty here. Firehouse, how are you today?
Lovely to meet you.
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. Did you have a question for Daniel today?
Yes, I did. Daniel, would you
Hello.
say, hey, how are you?
I'm really well, man. Thank you so much for asking. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking, okay, if a child grew up with parents who are atheists and they told him, hey, God doesn't exist, they pushed their beliefs into that child, would you say that child has been I can't say the word, but you know what I mean.
Indoctrinated.
No, that's cool. I think this is a great question. I think that by definition, indoctrination is the pushing of one narrative at the exclusion of even being presented with an alternative. So, if these atheist parents were to shield and shelter their children from alternative views, and they were to actively push irrational views that are unsupported by evidence, then yeah, that would be indoctrination. Yeah, I agree. It would be. And I don't think that would be healthy, personally. Like, I'll be raising my daughter to be fully aware of religion. You know, I want her knowing how Christianity works, what its claims are, where the evidence is and where it isn't. I want her learning about Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, Sikhism, Scientology, Zoroaster, like etc. So I want her learning about as many religions as possible, so that she can think critically. You know, I don't want to shelter her from these belief systems that influence so many of the people that she's going to be sharing this planet with. I want her to understand why people are doing and saying and voting for the things that they are. I would never encourage indoctrination into atheism. Absolutely not.
All right, thank you.
Okay, did you have any other
course.
questions, Fire?
I guess when you said earlier, you said you wouldn't encourage her to some irrational belief. In your view, what would be considered an irrational view?
An irrational view?
Yeah.
Sure. Let's say, for example, accepting something, unrealistic without any coherent body of evidence to support its likelihood or any sound argument that would convince her if it's true. Like that, I would say would be encouraging her to think irrationally.
Like flat Earth?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's a good example. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Have a good one.
You too, mate. Thanks for coming up.
Thank you, Firehouse. Nice to meet you. Thanks for
Lovely
coming
to
up. We
meet you.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
Solovino.
Hello.
Solovino.
How you guys doing?
I'm sorry, it's Solo's turn next, Caleb.
Oh, it's Solo?
Solo.
Sorry.
Yeah. How are you today?
Yeah, settle down there, Caleb.
Sorry, bro.
Caleb's great. I've spoken to Caleb before. He's a nice dude.
You know something? Would you actually let Caleb go first? I kind of want to rethink the question that I was going to ask. So
I will do that, but you have to cash out me $5 and I'll let him go ahead of you, okay?
All right,
no, I'm
let
just
me
kidding.
get-
Caleb, go ahead.
I appreciate that.
Now I see what's happening here.
Really, I had a question for you, Daniel, and also Crystal. You could answer this if you wanted to as well.
Okay.
So I'm an atheist, or an agnostic atheist, and I think that religion is like pretty harmful. And so like my personal goal when I'm talking to like religious people is to like try to change their mind. Like foundationally, that is the thing that I'm trying to do. And I'm wondering, like, whenever you speak to religious people, like, is that your goal, or is your goal more so to just like plant seeds of doubt? And then I have an additional question, which is, what do you think is like the best argument, or even if it's not an argument, what do you think is like the best methodology to try to like change a Christian or just a theist's mind?
Yeah, this is great. I feel as though I try not to. My goal is ultimately to influence their beliefs. Absolutely, that is my goal. I'm not looking to just platform people so they can spread religious rhetoric, unabated. Unimpeded. My goal is absolutely to counter and challenge claims and beliefs. That's absolutely my goal, yes. I think that realistically, though, it's never going to happen in the moment. I'm never going to... When I think about my deconstruction process and the process that I hear everyone else share with me when they tell me how it worked for them, it never happened in one moment. It happened over years. It was a gradual process of being exposed to alternative claims, alternative facts, alternative concepts. And I simply cannot expect myself to flip someone's script in the space of, I typically speak with people for half an hour and then someone else comes up. I simply cannot expect that of myself. I'd be expecting myself to do the impossible. If I could choose a superpower, it would be to deconstruct people at the snap of my fingers. That'd be amazing. But yeah, that absolutely is my goal. I just don't expect it to happen then and there. Like I'll have people who will DM me like a year and a half after our first conversation, and they'll be like, "Oh my god, dude, I can't believe how my life has changed after we first spoke. Like, this is wild. I thank you so much for being there." And to me, sometimes I cry sometimes about it. I'm like, dude, I can't tell you how welcome you are. It's a long process. And I say that for me, all the books I've read on it, all the research I've done on it, the best methods are ultimately street epistemology. I don't know if you've heard of that before.
I have not.
But it's this practice. I treat it like a bit of a hobby, really. Just trying to get better at street epistemology every day. It's essentially having Socratic discussion, basically meaning just asking as many questions as possible. Calibrated questions too, not random questions that aren't really going to isolate particular opinions out of the person. But learning how to ask the right question, depending on what it is that they just shared. Like, for example, if someone comes up and I ask them something like, well, would you do anything that God told you to do? And they say something like, yeah, I would. If God told me to do something, I would do it. I go, oh, okay, cool. Well, what if God asked you to, I don't know, jump your neighbor's fence and take the lives of their children? They say, oh, well, usually they'll say, no, I would never do that. And I'll say, oh, well, have you read 1 Samuel 15:3 then? And usually they'll say, no. I go, would you like to read it with me? Then they'll say, yes. Internally, they might be thinking, oh shit, what have I gotten myself in for here? and then we read it with them and we say, well, God does ask people to attack their neighbor's children sometimes. That is something that God has done. And so street epistemology it's kind of like street preaching, but the opposite, right? It's kind of like a counter approach to street preaching. It's instead of just preaching to a crowd, it's having a conversation with someone who is willing. They have to be open to it. You can't just approach people the way that, Jehovah's Witnesses do when they walk up to your door. You offer people the opportunity to approach you, and then you ask them questions that zero in on particular aspects of their belief. And then if you can see that thank you so much, Liz. And then if you can see that they're starting to cogitate, you can see that the wheels are starting to turn, that's often a good time to go, hey, look, do you want to put a pin in this? And we'll talk some other time. And they'll always go, yeah, that'd be great, actually. Thank you so much. Because you don't want to overload people either. Otherwise, it just backfires. So I'd say, like, if you look up street epistemology, there are a couple of guys on YouTube who just do an amazing job of it, and they teach you how to do it. There are books you can read, like A Handbook for Creating Atheists by Peter Boghossian. I absolutely do not endorse everything that Peter Boghossian says and does, but that's a great book of his. Yeah, I'd say look into street epistemology if you're genuinely interested in making an actual impact in someone's deconstruction journey. I think that'd be a really, really good place to start.
Yeah, I really like what you said about like putting a pin in the conversation once you've like given them like a good plate of information, I guess you could say, because I definitely have been guilty of overloading people, and I think a lot of the time I end up pushing people away more when I do that because they just see me as being like antagonistic, like I'm purposely trying to antagonize them rather than just trying to like make them question their beliefs. So I really like what you said about that. I need to get in the habit of just giving them a little bit and then letting them walk away with that.
And it's so understandable too, right? Because you have all of this information that would change their life.
Mm-hmm.
And so you want to give it to them. You want to help them.
Yeah.
I totally get it. I totally get it.
If you're up here on lives doing this, Caleb, one thing that I like to be cognizant of is that it's not always the person that I'm having the conversation with that I am actually reaching. It's people in the chat. It's people who are listening. It's people who are going to play this back later and listen to it again or what have you. So,
Yep.
I hope that I'm reaching that person too. Absolutely. But for me, it's a bigger picture that hopefully somebody like Solovino will listen to what I'm saying instead of talking in the chat. No, I'm just kidding. But the people in the chat are listening because it was me. I was the one in the chat while Justin and Daniel and Joyful and stuff were up talking to people in skits and stuff. I was the one in chat deconstructing this harmful religion.
Yeah.
And so it reached me,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like presenting your side as the more respectful and like open-minded side too. I think that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's such a massive point right there. Like optics. Optics is huge. If you do not, there are some people on this app doing, technically a version of street epistemology, but it's aggressive,
Mm-hmm.
and they put no effort into the way that their product appears, and they put no effort into managing their own emotional state and that kind of thing. And that can be cathartic for them, and for some viewers, they love just watching a Christian get beat up in the guest box. Personally, I don't like that.
Mm-mm.
I don't like it at all. It didn't help me. I can see that it's kind of backfiring in the moment
Mm-hmm.
on the guests that they have up. I think that what you just touched on there is a really important point, is understanding just like how you appear to the Christian. It's so easy to appeal to angry atheists
Yeah.
on the internet. There's plenty of angry atheists who are just looking for someone who
We're
will
not
validate.
angry.
You want to get pat on the back by the other angry
We're a
atheists,
little
right?
hungry.
Exactly.
We haven't had our
Exactly.
snacks today.
And also,
It's
I,
not easy.
I,
It's not easy. It's hard, right? It's hard.
yeah, can I
Um,
point out one thing I really like that you've done too, Daniel? Is that you've recognized something I don't think a lot of other people recognize, which is, you have sympathy for Christians, which is that they don't always have anywhere else to go other than Christianity. Like that is their
yeah.
support system for a lot of them, right? And if they are to leave that faith, they're to leave behind their entire family. They're to leave behind some of them, like their financial support, like they're married to
Yes.
someone who holds their finances, like it's their entire life. They can't just do
Yes.
that. And so to like,
Exactly.
yeah, to like crush somebody's entire world on in a live in front of hundreds of people, you got to have a little bit of sympathy of what you're doing there. It's it's
Yeah.
it can be hard. So
I completely
It
agree.
is
And
hard.
don't get me wrong. I have my moments where I feel myself getting hit. And it's funny I
yeah,
say this too, because sometimes I'll remove a guest or something, and I'll go, "I'm so sorry, chat," and people are like, "What are you sorry about?" I was like, "I just totally crashed out on that person,"
yeah,
and chat will go, "Are you kidding? Like we thought you were just like chatting." So I don't know. Maybe my perspective is a bit skewed as well, but I feel as though um, creating the kind of space that people will want to come back to,
mm,
because it never happens in one go. If you want them to come back again and double down on their conversation with you, you have to be approachable. You have to
Yeah.
be, yeah.
absolutely.
some
And
great
aren't those the
questions,
people
man.
who change minds? The Alex O'Connors, the Theremin Trees, the genetically modified
Yes,
skeptics. All those type of people, right? That are respectful and they have sympathy. Those are the people that
100%.
truly. I mean, that's what changed my mind. That's why I became an atheist. Not
Yes.
because of some angry atheist yelling at a Christian and making them feel terrible about themselves.
I love that you just shouted out GMS as well. Huge
Yeah.
shouts out to GMS, and also theremin trees. Oh my
Yes.
god, underrated content. If you're deconstructing and you haven't stumbled across theremin trees, you got to check it out.
Oh
Really,
man,
really good content.
I need to. I wish I could watch Theremin Trees for the first time again. Just
Yeah.
really incredible content. And he doesn't only go into religion; he also goes into like abuse and power
Yes.
structures and all these different types of things. So
Like so much, like such well produced content into the psychology of belief. Really, really good stuff.
yeah,
Theremin trees, yo.
but yeah, man, that's really all I wanted to come ask was how you approach that stuff. So I really appreciate that.
Hey,
Caleb,
lovely to
thanks
have you
so
up, man.
much for
Thank you.
coming up.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Solo, are you ready now?
See you guys.
Beat that solo.
Gosh, you guys gave me so much time. I think I almost forgot. Hold on. Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a number of things that I always want to ask people, but I never want to come up on your live because I'm afraid that, you're doing that for your own, to talk to, the non-believers. And so this is a rare opportunity I get to speak with you.
Sure.
Who, like, who were your like big influencers when you were a Christian? Like the people that you looked up to in terms of like reading their literature, or perhaps they were speakers of some sort. Your heroes of the faith. And who are your heroes now? Who are the people that you like? For me, you guys mentioned like Alex O'Connor. That's
Yeah.
definitely one of them now for me. Of course, I'm just impressed by the fact that he's like my son's age and twice as
Crazy.
smart as me.
Crazy,
Um,
crazy, crazy.
yeah, but but anyway, I don't want to answer my own question. I want you to answer the question. So, who are your heroes when you were a Christian? Who is your hero now?
I'd say this is easy to start with. One of my heroes is you.
Aw.
Your content, man. I think I only kind of stumbled across your content like a couple of weeks ago, and I was literally just pissing myself laughing for a good
So
hour.
funny.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
Now,
If
now
you're not
you,
already,
now you realize that you guys were just talking about being respectful and whatnot. You do realize
I
that
know.
I'm not very
I know.
respectful as a troll, but when I have my
You guys
lives,
follow Solo and watch
Yes.
his content. He trolls. When he does his lives, he does really cool lives. But his content on his page is him trolling, and it's hilarious in the
It's just so
funniest
funny.
ways you can ever imagine.
follow
I-
me
like
and
I-
gift me. Yes. Go ahead.
That's right. Yeah, no, I don't usually have the time to watch your lives, so I think it's probably why I didn't really know that much about your content. But when I stumbled across it a couple weeks ago, I spent like a good hour and a bit just pissing myself laughing in my kitchen. I'd say, man, when I was growing up, my heroes, like the people who, I don't know, maybe like VeggieTales, shit. I think it was
Oh my
like.
God. No wonder you converted. Really? A cartoon
I'd say-
tomato?
I don't-
Come on. Oh.
I'd say there was, what did I say? There was this comedian,
Thank you for the
Uh,
follow.
like Brad Stein. I don't know if anyone knows Brad Stein, like this Christian comedian.
Oh my God.
I used to take him way too seriously. Man, it's hard to say because my parents, thankfully enough, they didn't really like bring home that much on tape or DVD or anything. They just took me to church all the time. So I think I probably just listened to my youth pastors and my
Right. So
and-
you
and my
weren't really
pastors
on
were.
you weren't.
What was
We
that?
lost you, Solo.
I'm sorry?
What was
We
the
lost
last thing you were
you.
gonna ask?
Oh, that's because I took a step up.
Oh,
So let's see. So you didn't really become like intellectual about anything until you became an atheist then.
pretty much, yeah. Look, a big part of my deconstruction was studying Christian theology and philosophy at university. So you could say that
Oh, okay.
I, I I definitely wanted to take some of my lecturers very seriously, and I really did. And then,
Hi, Joyful.
but then towards the end of my course, they would teach me things about the theology, and they'd say things about it, and I'd just be like, that's so dumb. Like, why would I believe that? And it became less and less. I just became less and less able to take them seriously because they just said less and less believable things. I was just like, why would I believe any of this stuff? So
Yeah.
I think when I started investigating it more intellectually was when I was at university. Because I wanted to
Right.
be an RE teacher. I wanted to be able to teach in the Catholic schools where I live.
Wow.
And yeah, that backfired. You know,
Yeah.
every question I would ask was
Yeah.
answered in the most like
Yeah. I was gonna be
unsatisfying,
I was
ridiculous
gonna be
way.
a pastor too, like my dad, and yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
So
it just gets so
so who are the
ridiculous.
ones now then? So who are your Jesus? Yeah. God damn it, guy. We all know you're a virgin now. Thanks. Go ahead. I have the dumbest neighbors. I don't know why they're honking sweetheart because they have a horn and they don't know what else to do.
Because you're.
But just I fell asleep at the wheel or something. I think
Yeah.
these days my go-tos are, man, I honestly really love watching Mezzo and Joel
Nice.
because I've got a lot of people on here that I really love watching. My go-tos these days are people like Mezzo and Joel because they make it fun.
Yeah.
There's so much fun to deconstruct with those guys, and I think that, like Mezzo mentioned this a couple of days ago too, is like it's something that seems to be kind of missing in the space is people just actually making some lighthearted fun out of the whole process.
Yeah.
It's like it's so emotionally taxing,
Sure.
but being able to laugh it off, I feel is so cathartic. So I love watching Joel and Mezzo. I can see Jaren's on here too. I really love Jaren's stuff because I feel like
Yeah.
it totally undermines so much of the like foundational indoctrination, being able to
Right.
question whether or not Jesus even bloody existed.
Yeah.
I find that so helpful. That really feels good to me.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
He's about to turn me into a mythicist if I keep listening to his lives.
honestly, dude,
Not that it
honestly,
matters, because I really don't care whether Jesus existed or not, but it's actually interesting. So
super interesting. I agree. I'd say also I
Nah,
watch.
Jaren's okay.
yeah,
We can find some time for Jared here and there.
pretty smart for a cowboy.
He's all right for a Texan.
That's quite good. Oh, hello.
Well, I've been
Oh,
on here
thank you so
long
much.
enough. I'm going to let somebody else go, but it's been nice to talk to you, Daniel. And thanks for doing what you do. And thanks for giving my troll videos a like and stopping by my live every now and then and just saying hi. Or sometimes we meet in Jason's live. Oh, my God. But anywho, I'm not going to talk about somebody if they're not here, even though Jason's not here and he's a twat. All right. See you guys later.
Bye, Solo. Thanks for being here.
See you,
Love
mate.
you.
Make sure you follow Solo, y'all.
Yes, follow Solo. Beth, how are you today?
Hello, I'm good.
Hello.
Did you have a question for Daniel?
Yes, a question. Sorry if I'm about to depress everyone. I was just wondering
Go
if
for it.
there was anyone in your lives who not TikTok lives, but like your actual lives who you don't talk about your disbelief with. I've been deconstructed for about 13 years, but kind of in the closet, except for a few people. Recently, my grandfather passed, and I was the one who took on his eulogy, and I had to, talk about his faith and all that, because I'm the one who, the most educated in my family, the one who's done, public speaking and stuff. So I kind of volunteered out of necessity to do it. And, part of me feels, you know, bad for doing it in a way, but also proud of myself for taking that on for my family. So I don't know. I'm just in just like this conundrum that I'm wrestling with right now. I just don't know how to feel about it. So I was just wondering if there's anyone in your lives who, you just didn't go there with and how you feel about it.
That's a great question. I feel as though I go there kind of less and less with family. And I definitely lean into the live streaming because I
Yeah.
know that it kind of fills that void. There's that part of me that would just love for my parents to just listen, and they just won't. Um, so I do still get to talk to them a little bit, but less and less because they're just so irrational. It's just so hard to get through and just get so emotionally charged.
Yeah.
I don't talk to my grandparents about it because they're super old
Yeah.
and they won't really be here for that much longer, realistically. Like they're all kind of in decline at the moment, and I don't think that it's worth the mental anguish that it would put them
Yeah.
through. So I don't really talk about it with my grandparents. Um, I have, I have colleagues and neighbors and stuff who are religious, and I tread very lightly because I don't want to you know put barriers up between people that I kind of have to get along with in order for my
Yeah.
day to go smoothly. Um, I honestly I find this space here like TikTok live streaming. I find that to be where I let off a lot of that steam. I feel a lot of I fill my cup a lot just by being here instead because I know that there are so many people in my personal life that just not ready for the conversation. It's hard
Yeah.
though, right? It's hard. It's
It
hard.
is, it's really hard, especially the state that I live in. It's like I have my husband and, my sister, but that's about it. And, we're
Yeah.
just chugging along, just, kind of taking it. And it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is.
Totally. You're doing a
Yeah.
great job. You really are. It's
Yeah.
hard work, and I think that that's something that's so beautiful about for all the insanity that ensues on social media. It's such a powerful tool at the same time. Like we can
Yeah.
communicate with each other in a way that's unimaginable. 100 years ago, and we can connect, even though might feel isolated in our Bible Belt state or something, or in a religious extended family. We can still find each other and not feel so alone. I think that's a huge pro in my book for social media.
For sure.
Um,
Yeah, thank y'all for all y'all do. I've just discovered this probably within the last month or two. I never did TikTok live, so this has been really cool, and I enjoy following all of you, and can't wait to listen to more of what y'all have to say. Thank you.
Well, I
so welcome.
appreciate you coming up, Beth.
Yes, have
So
a good
nice
day.
to meet you.
You too.
You too.
Bye.
Hey, biblical scholar, haven't seen you in a while. Jaren, my friend, how are
This guy.
you?
I am doing well. I am doing well.
Did you have a question for the amazing Daniel Green tonight?
In fact, I did. Daniel,
Yes.
what are lamingtons?
Oh man, these are great. Actually, I should have brought this up before when Tahir asked. So lamingtons are like, you get a layer of sponge cake, a layer of jam, and then another layer of sponge cake, and you cut them into like hand holdable sized little cakes. You roll them in like chocolate sauce, and then you roll that in coconut, and then you let it set, and they're bloody delicious. I mean, they're honestly amazing. That's what a lamington is.
That sounds
And
really yummy.
yeah, they're like an old school OG Australian snack. I am his pastor. My goodness, dude! Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. That was wild, man. Thank you so much.
That was wild.
I might have to consider reconverting after that one. Thank you. Yeah, they're bang on. They're so good. They're easy to make. Just look them up. Have a crack. Can't
So-
really fail.
Would those be something that you would put chicken salt on?
Look, most people wouldn't. Personally, I would bury them in chicken salt myself. I would absolutely bury them in chicken salt.
And for the viewers, what is chicken salt?
It's mostly just MSG, to be fair. Mixed through salt. It tastes a little bit chickeny, and it's just salt we put on our chips and stuff. It sounds absolutely revolting. And I mean, at a molecular level, it probably really is, if we're honest with ourselves. But
Okay.
look,
And you
we got-
buy these at Woolworths?
yes, and at Coles, and we also have Aldi here as well. But of course, our
At Kohl's? Like Kohl's, the department store?
no, Coles here.
Oh, okay.
No, just
Like
my friend
Kohl's.
Cole. Everyone goes to Cole's place to buy their stuff.
Okay,
Um,
yeah. I know that guy.
We also, I think, our beneficent dictator Rupert Murdoch owns Woolworths, and so we're all compelled to purchase it at Woolworths for all of our
Oh, I
needs.
see.
It's hard, but
All right. Well,
this is Australia.
I love your content, Daniel. I think that you are a absolutely great speaker and very patient with people. I have actually tried my hardest to remain calm and try to retain my sanity when talking to, numerous crazy people. Like you know what I'm talking about? Like when someone gets up
yeah.
there and tries to tell me that I'm going to hell, or they'll get on there and tell me, hey, you're of Satan, or someone will get on and say, my name's Joel. Like, I hate those people. And so,
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Those people are the worst.
They're the worst.
but nevertheless, I always think, well, Daniel Green, WWDGD, what would Daniel Green do? And I think that he would remain calm. He would keep his composure, and he would talk to somebody and show kindness and empathy, because that's what I see every time that I see your live.
He would repress his rage for the benefit of the audience. Yeah, man, I really appreciate that, dude. I genuinely love your lives as well. Like I feel like the conversation that you're pushing is so important. It's so important. I mean, for me, it just seems so obvious now that even if Jesus did exist, why the fuck would you believe any of these stories about him? They're completely ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense to accept these stories about him.
Oh yeah.
Especially the second you know anything about any other mythology. But pushing the narrative that he might not even be real, and then giving like genuinely compelling argumentation in favor of that position, I think is awesome. I hope you fucking blow up, dude. I really do. I hope you're massive.
Oh, well, if I keep eating these lamingtons, I might be.
Jaren, before you drop, can I just say I sometimes think WWJAAAAAARON do.
That makes a lot of sense.
Which is that's how you spell your name, right? JAAAA with an umlaut ARON.
You skipped a couple A's,
Oh,
but that's fine. That's fine.
JAA run. Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, anybody in the chat, if you are not following Daniel Green, or if you haven't heard of Brad Stein, put a helmet on!
That's a solid reference. Anyone who's ever watched any Brad Stein content, they're gonna love that one. Man, so good. I love that guy.
Jaren, you didn't even give me a chance to promo you. You guys, Jaren and Cyber will be on my show here very soon if they will just answer their DMs and give me a date. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So make sure you're following me. Follow Jaren. Follow Cyber Deconstruction right there, because we're all going to be doing a show together coming up in the next few weeks. So, Joel, my friend.
Crystal,
Hi,
my
how
friend.
are you?
I'm good.
I love you, Joel.
Stop.
I do. I love you.
You're buttering me up. I've got.
No, but really.
I love you too, and genuinely. My question is, Daniel, can you speak to Tim Tams?
Yes, I can speak to Tim Tams, especially now that they have a plant-based range. I'm proud to say that they now have vegan Tim Tams. Tim Tams, I mean, they're absolutely top tier. They're something that I'm quite proud of Australia for. I think as a nation, we've achieved some good things. We've done a whole bunch of garbage as well, but Tim Tams are great. Tim Tams are really good. If you do they sell them where you guys live?
They sell them here, and I haven't gotten them for a while, but I had a phase there where I always had a box of Tim Tams in the house, and it's top tier chocolate. Like, it's not like, they're a chocolate cookie. Well, you can get, of course, the caramel, the dark chocolate. There's different flavors, but they cover it. It's like a chocolate cookie with a little bit of a chocolate. What would you say is right in the middle? It's just like a icing type of chocolate.
I don't know. It's like a bit of
Pastor said that he just paid us all to shut this live down. That's why he was gifting us.
I don't take money from the church.
And then covered in chocolate. It's all, but it's good chocolate.
Yeah, I think it might have a little bit of like magic inside it or something, because it's just so good. Like maybe like they got elves that work at the Tim Tam factory that put a little bit of magic in it or something. Because it's just it's whatever it is. It's just I don't know.
It's special.
It's special. No, it's one thing that we've invented that I can back. I can back a Tim Tam.
Daniel, do you call it a biscuit? Do they call them biscuits in Australia?
Look,
in Australia,
really, we tend
do
to
they go
call
biscuit?
Them, look, honestly, it's more bickies. We call them bickies.
Oh, they're bickies there.
Really?
Yeah, like in Australia, like everything gets nicknamed in Australia. I mean, we don't even say Australia. We just say Straya. STR.
Oh, so lazy.
AYA. So, oh my God. So I taught high school English, right? And oh my God, the laziness of Australian English. I speak very, very clearly for an Australian. This is like other Australians are incoherent.
A lot of you guys are just these surfers that are just like hanging out, just with your hair down, chilling. You're not going to use full words.
I'm the only one who's not like that. Every single other Australian is like this.
That's what I thought. Well, I have a question at the end of this diatribe, but I once went to Australia. Did I ever tell you that?
No, I didn't know
No, I don't know that you did.
When I was
Hey,
in,
Daniel, I have a question. Do you ever get
Shut
sick and
up,
tired of
Mezzo, I'm
every
telling
single
an
person on
important
this
story.
entire app tokenizing you as their one Australian friend instead of recognizing that you're a real person
I probably
with a
have more
heart
Australian
and a
friends. Can you
beanie?
just let me do my thing?
Do you get sick of it, mate?
This is exactly
Why
what I
would you
expect
talk
from these two.
over my story? Just can
An
you
absolute
calm?
farce.
You can do your question, Mezzo, but let me.
How do you?
I was just
trying to mute Joel. How do I do
I
that?
was telling the whole
This
story.
is why.
don't
This
know.
is why the Christians
he
don't take you
rigged
seriously.
it one time
Come on.
so that I could never mute him or kick him from my show. It was weird. I don't know what he did.
This one only does mine.
all right, so when I was in my late teens, I joined this group called the Canadian Continentals. This was a Christian choir that originated from America called the Continentals, and they would get young people to learn a bunch of like cheesy Christian songs and then travel around the country. And we went around Canada, but we also got to go to Australia, which was a huge thing. And we went to Brisbane, and we were like, I was impressed because all the 7-Elevens had like, or I don't, maybe you guys don't have 7-Elevens, but like the convenience stores had mostly glass, which blew my mind because all of ours are mostly brick because everything's cold here.
Yeah.
And we went to some beaches and outdoor malls and stuff like that. Anyway, we were staying with like homestay. You know, you stay with a church, one of the church families. And the young man that lived there, like another boy, he taught me this song that ended up with "Roos are a pest, roos are a pest, oh bugger them roos." And he got in trouble from his mom because he said bugger.
Yeah.
But what's that full song? That's my question.
I think it's zoos are a pest. No, not zoos. My goodness. Roos are a pest. Roos are a pest. Go and bugger them roos.
No,
But not literally, because
that's the whole thing.
bugger. I'm getting to that.
Okay.
But don't actually bugger them because in Australia, buggering means sodomy. That's the whole song.
Not how it goes.
It is.
That was the end of it. There was the whole first part that was like, there was something that happened
In Australia, they say that in Australia it means that. They don't say we mean that.
Yeah, that's what. Like in Australia,
That's
that's what bugger actually means. It's slang.
It's just funny that you mentioned in the song here where we live. This is what it means, and they didn't, as if they
It's
didn't.
like Mezzo's doing another analogy because in the Gospels it says the Jews do this, the Jews do that, and it's like, why would you say that if you were the Jews, right? So it seems like
That's
the Jews.
true.
Do it, right? And so he's doing an analogy because, like in Australia, you wouldn't go, the Australians say this, you know, they would say, we just think buggering is sodomy.
Yeah, look.
Was that your Australian accent?
I'm not good at it.
They'd say we think buggery is buggery. They would know what it means.
Right.
Yeah.
They wouldn't do an interpretation.
Yeah, it's a little different over here. I can't, to be honest, I actually can't say I've ever heard that song before.
You've never heard that song? It ends with "Roos are pissed, roos are pissed, oh bugger them roos."
It is true.
You got tricked. You were scammed.
But he
not
made
a
up that song?
I think
He
it might have
tricked you.
been like another example of young indoctrinated Joel getting taken advantage of by religious
Did that guy
charlatans.
get you to do something inappropriate to a
He made
kangaroo?
me bugger a roo.
Yeah, I think you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, I think you got had, man. I'm sorry to say, but
Oh man.
we don't really do that. In fact, this is interesting though.
I've seen that
and-
video.
You guys are ruining my image of the firefighters after the fire holding the little baby roos, okay?
Now we're gonna have to
Ruining.
deconstruct all of Australia, like
right.
just everything about it.
God, you guys are this close to figuring out that Australia's not actually real. Okay, I gotta change topic real quick.
I had a whole bit about Scotland not being real, but I'm gonna look up that. I'm gonna go find that song. But so I'm gonna pass it. I'm gonna pass. Are we playing destroy or deconstruct or whatever?
Yeah, we're gonna be doing that in a little bit. We sure are. Are you gonna
Alright.
play when I play?
I would love to.
Okay, awesome. You can stay up here. You guys can stay up here. Mezzo, did you have a question for the amazing Daniel Green?
I think I'd asked it. Are you sick and tired of everyone on the app tokenizing you as their one Australian friend? I think that's a valid question.
I think, look, I have had to come to terms with what I believe is the reality.
Let me
That
rephrase it. How much of your personality is the fact that you're Australian, in your opinion?
yeah, I think in the eyes of most of my followers, it's just a novelty. Yeah, I don't think I'm particularly, enlightening or well spoken or anything like that. I think it's got a lot more to do with the accent, and the time slot being open when when everyone else is asleep. I think I'm just taking advantage of a niche in the environment that hasn't really been filled yet. I think outside of that, I don't think I bring much to the table. I mean, you've got Venus these days too.
Yeah,
Venus,
we have
Venus
Venus.
is Venus is out there, and I think you're gonna get way more guest crash outs if you go over to Venus's too. Like it gets heated over there. So stop listening to me. Go follow Venus, really, if you want a token Australian friend.
She's amazing. Grana, welcome to the show. Did you have questions for Daniel? Wait, before you do, let me do a really quick commercial. You guys keep tapping that screen. Let's get to 50,000 likes if we could do that. And don't forget, I have a gift goal. It's just the roses. They're 1 coin each, but let's get to 666 so we can hail Satan. Also, if you haven't subscribed, it's less than a cup of coffee a month. Look at what I bring for you. Subscribe to my channel today. We have some wonderful emotes. We have great shows. We do subscriber only lives. Subscribe, and if you're over on YouTube, make sure you subscribe for free over there. I finally reached 500, so we're going to be doing the drawing. Actually, tonight I'll be doing the drawing for the POS FF mug for everybody who entered into the drawing to help me get to 500 subscribers on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. Grana, what did you have for Daniel Green tonight?
Well, I have two questions. The first one is, when are you going to record a bunch of stories for me to go to sleep with? Because your voice is so perfect, and I just need those at night, when I just click it on and then I can go to sleep.
I have had some requests, so I might have to follow through at some point.
I would write them, but they're going to be about buggering ruse.
They're going to be like Australiana themed Harlequin romances. I think just kangaroos falling in love with koalas and stuff. But yeah, look, I'll work on it for you. How about that?
Thank you. I appreciate that. And my other question is, what is your favorite topic to when someone gets it, you immediately you're like, yes, this is going to be good. This is going to be fun to talk about.
Look,
Christianity.
Your subtopic.
Yeah, Lamingtons and Tim Tams mostly. I think I think the moral argument is really fun to explore because I mean it's such compelling content. Like the philosophical stuff, I don't mind going there. I find it like fun to go there, like a little bit of a brain exercise. The moral argument stuff, I think, is really, really good content because it's so confronting for people. I think that when guests come up and they'll play ball and they'll actually honestly answer questions and we have a bit of a back and forth and we get really deep and they end up saying things like, yeah, if God told me to, I would unalive a child or something. That's great content in my mind because as disturbing of a thing as it is to hear come from someone's mouth, that stuff lands. Like that stuff hits different for the audience, especially audience who maybe hasn't heard certain passages out of the Bible before. Like I remember when I first heard about these really horrifically violent, brutal passages where God is just like, he's just in contempt of humanity. That really did something for my brain chemistry. So I find the moral argument is really good fun to explore. I don't know if anyone in here was in there the other day when I had someone come up, and this is a bit heavy, trigger warning, but he said that if God commanded him to, he would SA a dozen children. And I just think that I know it's absolutely horrific. But that's exactly what I'm talking about, right? Like that topic, I think, brings out so much to unpack in front of an audience, and you can bring up so much psychology and so much axiology, like the like moral philosophy, that kind of thing. That stuff's really rich. That stuff is really, really good stuff to do in front of an audience. 'Cause it
Grana, anything else you wanted to ask Daniel?
snaps people out of it a bit.
No, I do want to say that I appreciate that very much, because my dad was one who more than once, like I would just be walking through the living room and he'd be like, just so you know, I love God so
Am
much
I frozen for you guys?
Oh, am I
No,
frozen?
no, you're good. No, you're both good for me.
Oh, okay.
No, I just didn't hear you talking, but
Oh,
your
weird.
box was lighting up. It was very weird.
Okay, can you hear me now?
So I thought I froze or something. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, weird. I don't know what happened. My dad, like, I'd just be walking through the living room, and a couple times he stopped me and he goes, I love God so much that if he asked me to, I would unalive you. Just to
Oh
let me
my
know.
God.
It's,
That is
Wow.
horrible.
Yeah,
and
more than
and
once.
you know what? I just don't struggle to believe that as well. Excuse me. I don't struggle to believe it either. And before I respond, I just want to say you absolutely did not deserve that. It's absolutely horrific. Your younger self was always valuable. You never should have had anyone say anything like that to you. You did not deserve that in the slightest. And I hope that you've been able to unpack that with a professional. You really do deserve that. But I just don't struggle to believe it. I remember asking my dad one time. It's not quite as confronting as that, but I remember sitting down on the couch next to him one time and asking, Dad, do you love me more or Jesus more? Because when you're a kid, you put things together and you hear things at church and things start to add up in a certain way, and then you got to ask the question and go, do you love me or Jesus more? And it took him about a second. He just went, Jesus. And man, what that did psychologically, I don't think can be underestimated. What that did was it's just horrific, absolutely crushing. And I know now, excuse me, I know now that that's the kind of thing that someone who's mentally ill says, right? Like that's the kind of thing that a parent who's struggling with mental illness that they might not even know that they have would say, right? And so I can see that conversation. And thank you so much, Kazan. I can see that conversation from a zoomed out perspective now. I can see it a lot more objectively than I used to. It doesn't mean that it didn't hurt in the moment. It still hurt, and it still affected me pretty deeply and led to all kinds of stuff psychologically. But yeah, I don't struggle to believe what you say at all. I mean, I think we've probably many of us have probably had a conversation like that with our parents. So I hear you. I hear you.
For me was my attitude in my head was not, even though I felt horrible about it, my thought in my head was, oh, I must have a dad who loves God and that. I didn't even think about myself anymore. I just felt bad with them. Oh, good that my dad loves God. It was so indoctrinated.
It's wild stuff, right? It's religion is a hell of a drug. I think something that I wish non-religious people, especially people who are raised non-religious and are still non-religious in their adulthood, something I wish that they understood is that religion is not benign. Like religion is not this like kind of harmless framework that some people live their lives inside of. I think there's a really toxic misconception of religion in the minds of a lot of people who weren't raised in it. They think it's no big deal. It's a big deal. It fucks people up, and people will go out. They'll say these horrific things to their children from infancy, and they'll go out and vote against people's human rights. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy stuff. And I think that I wish more people realized that religion is at the root of the problem a lot of the time when it comes to these huge societal issues. It's religion.
Did you have any other questions, Grana?
No, that was all. Thank you.
Okay, you
Thank you
guys,
so
if
much.
you are in the chat and you want to come up and ask Daniel a question, the guest box is open. If you're shy, you can ask it in the chat, but I might miss it because it's scrolling pretty fast. I'll do my best to read it out. If you're over on YouTube, I'll read it out to you. Daniel, do you remember a time where you were like really on fire, as they say, for the Lord?
I think I kind of peaked when I was evangelizing to friends when I was kind of like 15, 16. There were friends that I perceived as being kind of like off the rails, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Relative to my well-behaved Christian ass. I saw them as kind of, yeah, like really needing a bit of Jesus. So
Yeah,
I'd, I'd,
yeah.
I would offer Jesus as the solution to their problems. And I look back at that now and I'm like, if I could go back in time, I'd just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck. What are you doing? It's so embarrassing. Like, oh my God. But
Hey,
It's
Crystal, sorry to do this. I have to leave because, sorry to bring this back up, but I love my children more than any of you. So I
respect.
have to go be
that
with
was
them.
very
Yeah, sorry.
hurtful.
Huge
For
respect,
some
Meza.
reason, I feel I know.
Huge
I love
respect.
you,
There.
Mezzo. Thanks for coming up.
Bye.
Adios.
Bye.
Bye, Mazza.
Keep. How are you today? I can't see your full name, so all I see is
Keep
Keep.
curious.
Keep curious. How are
Keep
you?
curious. I'm good. I just wanted to come up real quick and tell Mezzo, Joel, and Daniel how much I appreciate all of you guys and you too, Crystal, and how much I appreciate everything that you bring to the deconstruction table. And just wanted to say, you guys are some of the most entertaining and most honest and respectful folks that I see. And so I just wanted to jump on here. I've deconstructed myself in the last 5 years, and so I was lucky enough to have a dad that was a pastor and a school teacher for a pastor for 20 years and a school teacher for 20 years, and he did teach me to question everything. So, but yeah, I just appreciate Daniel. You remind me to have a calm demeanor and just stay level-headed. And Joel, thanks for making all the songs. And Crystal, thanks for keeping people honest and on topic and staying there. So I just wanted to jump on and say that to you guys.
Well,
Much
I can't tell
appreciated, much
you.
love.
Oh, truly, I can't tell you how welcome you are, man. It's a total privilege, in my opinion. So, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for helping TikTok, spread the word more. Thanks for being a number in the top right corner.
Yeah, so I appreciate you guys very much. And that was it. So I'll let somebody
we
jump up
appreciate
on.
you.
But
Thanks
thank
so
you,
much
Crystal.
for being here.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Keep.
Don't forget the guest box is open, and of course, as I've said, if you'd like, we can take your questions over on YouTube or in the chat. I know sometimes people get shy to come up, and that's okay. We'll read them out. So, were you very ritualistic in your Christianity? Was there any ritual that you like really held on to, or was hard for you after deconstructing?
I used to pray a lot. So, I'd pray in the morning, I'd pray throughout the day, I'd pray every night in bed before I fell asleep. Yeah, I used to pray a lot. And I think after having learned a little bit more about psychology, I think for a while there, I probably qualified as having probably like borderline OCD, borderline religious OCD. I can't remember what it's called. It has a name. But the one where you are hyper fixated on morality, the one where you like sometimes kind of like paralyzed by just being afraid of doing the wrong thing. I was under the impression that God could read my mind. He knew what I was thinking.
Yes.
So to even think the wrong thing would be sinful. That could get me sent to hell. And obviously, that's not necessarily the message that every denomination pushes, but that's if you're taught to believe that God is all knowing, well, that includes your thoughts. He knows what you're thinking. There's no privacy ever. So I used to pray a lot, and I used to kind of pray under my breath a little bit compulsively, and not having that in my life. Oh man, that's just such a load off. My God. What else? Other than that, I don't know that I could say I was particularly ritualistic. It's a good question. I'm not sure about that. Yeah, I used to pray a whole bunch, and
I did too. I was telling Tahir and Garnet when they did their interview for their podcast with me that I would say that I was in constant prayer because I would just constantly talk to him in my head. Like that is who I wasn't talking to myself in my head. I was talking to God. And people ask me did he give you answers or whatever? Well, I thought he did, but obviously that was just me, So, but to me at the time, I thought those answers were coming directly from him because we were having conversations, and that was one of the hardest things as an ex-Christian was who am I talking to now?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Am I just going to have that conversation with myself in my head now, or what do I do? And it was very difficult to lay my head down at night and go, oh wait, now I don't do that thing anymore because there's nobody listening anyway, right?
Right.
But
And
it
I
was
remember,
a big relief.
Oh, it's such a load off. And I remember, my prayers would be they'd be quite routine. Like I'd have this script almost. And as I got older and my awareness would expand and I become more aware of injustices in the world and things going wrong and things that I wanted God to do something about, this script would just extend and extend and extend. And there'd be all these things that I'd be asking God for help with, please do something about the starving children. Please do something about cancer. Please do something about this. And it got to the point, where I was probably praying for a good, I'd have this script that would go for 10 minutes before I could really switch off and go to sleep, because I just feel bad if I didn't pray for it. I'd feel like I wasn't doing my part,
Right, yeah.
I wasn't doing my part by asking God to help. And I just look back at that now and I'm like, it's just so backwards. If any one of us had a button that would solve poverty, cure cancer, heal every disease at a single press, no one would hesitate we'd be diving for it. You couldn't stop us from getting to it and hitting that button.
Right.
And we're just raised to think that you're not doing your part if you don't at least ask God to do something about it, despite the fact that we have no evidence that he's ever done anything about it. It's just ridiculous. I think reading 1984 was huge for me. Orwell's 1984, probably one of my
graduating in 1984 was huge for me. So
well done.
Honestly, true,
honestly, huge. I think
every time I ever heard that book, I think of my graduation years. So,
there's got to be something in that. There's got to be some numerological.
Yes, there's got to be, right?
I'm sure some Christian would be able to tell you what it is.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I remember reading Orwell's 1984, and it was a bit like when I watched The Matrix. I was like, this story is trying to tell me something. There's something in this, and I remember just feeling like this has been my whole life, just constant surveillance. I've always felt just like I've had zero privacy. Like God has unfettered access to every thought that pops up in my brain. I can't help any of them. They're going to arise whether or not I meditate on them or not. Like the human brain can't help what it thinks, right? But we're taught to be afraid of it. We're taught to be afraid of our own thoughts. We're taught to feel guilty for thinking the wrong thing. It's just so evil. And I remember, books like 1984, movies like The Matrix, I think that really helped me kind of break out of that ritualistic trap. Like, It's
Yeah.
a system that you're manipulated into. Yeah.
Were either of you can answer this too, Joel. Were either of you ever taught? Because I remember being taught that everybody will see everything we have done.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I remember even as a kid thinking, that's not cool. Like I don't want people to know I picked my nose today or something. I was like, why? Why do we all gotta watch each other's private moments? Like I don't understand what that has to do with anything. And I remember being taught that as a Christian, and I hated that. But the thing with God knowing all our thoughts, I also hated because I have intrusive thoughts. And then there was guilt and shame because I have intrusive thoughts. But, I have mental illness that is hereditary in my family, and part of that is intrusive thoughts. And so trying to control something you have no control over, and then having guilt and shame on top of that, it's so freeing when you come to the realization that there is nobody policing your thoughts. You're not a bad person because a thought popped into your head. It's
Yeah.
it is
Absolutely.
just so freeing.
So freeing. The whole, like the Hawthorne effect, right? The notion that, well, the psychological phenomena of people behaving differently when they're under the impression they're being observed, right? Like, I don't know if you heard this experiment, but even to the point where you can have a group of kids completing an exam in a room with no posters, and you can have another room with full of kids taking an exam, and there's just one poster at the front of the room. It's just a pair of eyes. There's no one actually in the room watching the children. It's just there's a poster with eyes on it, looking at facing the children, and they look around less, right? When this poster with the eyes watching them is up the front of the room, they look at each other's papers less. They keep their head down more. It's like subconsciously, if we think there are even eyes on us, even if they're just printed onto a poster, our psychology just runs differently. And so I think that, this is such a great example of how religions have been such an effective behavior control mechanism for thousands of years. Because the second you have your people sincerely believing that they're being watched all the time, I mean, they're just so much more on edge. They're so much more likely to do whatever the hell you tell them to.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Hey, Randy, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Doing good. Did
Really
you have
well,
a
man.
question for Daniel?
I do. So, Daniel, you mentioned earlier about how the impact religion can have on people, and a lot of the examples I hear a lot of times are kind of more extreme examples. But in my family, religion was always there, but it was more very passive and not direct. It was more like everything happens for a reason. And that quote specifically, everything happened for a reason, it just comes up all the time in my family. And you would think it's, you could look at it as a simple way to kind of learn something. When something bad happens, you can try to find the good in it. And it sounds harmless, but I've seen examples of it where it affected when bad things happen, and you're sitting there stuck thinking that there's a reason for the bad things. I have an example of a cousin whose daughter was born with a really bad birth defect, and she was missing some bones in her skull, so her face was very malformed. And so for my cousin, to this day, she still has the daughter and she still has the malformation, and I can see her trying to put the understanding together of why is she, both of them, in the predicament that they're in because of this. And it all, my opinion is that it goes back to that belief that everything happens for a reason. And it's fine when nothing bad happens, but when something bad happens, it really hurts people, and it makes them try to figure things out that aren't really there. And I'm wondering, do you guys see that too?
Absolutely, yeah. I have extended family who are devoutly religious, and they had a child who is just profoundly disabled, I'm talking like we'll never be able to speak. We'll never be able to walk. We'll always have oxygen. We'll always be hooked up to oxygen. We'll always be hooked up to an IV. Like completely malformed. Like every part of their body is malformed. They're essentially just kind of carted around in a wheelchair, right? And they knew that was going to happen, right? Like they could tell that there was something wrong with the child very early on, but because there's just so, pardon the pun, like hell bent on going full term with any pregnancy whatsoever. They went full term, and now just the majority of their time is spent looking after this profoundly disabled little human. Their life is painful. Their life is painful. There's no recovery from this. There's no. Yeah, but they find ways to justify it in their own minds, because they say, well, everything happens for a reason. God wouldn't have made them this way if there was no reason, etc., etc. I totally see that. Yeah, I totally.
There's a way if you believe that there is an answer to the why, and if you can't figure it out, you'll spend. And my cousin, she's in her 60s now, and I see her still behaving in that. She changed when she had her daughter. She completely was devastated, and I just still see her trying to figure out the whys to why was she put into that? What did she do wrong that made her deserve that? And I've never approached the subject with her because they're very, very religious, and I don't think that's my place. But boy, I feel like that did so much damage to the whole family.
Yeah. No, I'd never approached them about it either.
Yeah.
It'd be way too heavy.
Yeah, exactly.
If someone came up as a guest, I'd totally go there because they've opted into that conversation, obviously. But
right.
Yeah.
But when I hear people say it passively, even at work, sometimes somebody was diagnosed with something, and somebody then said, well, everything happens for a reason. I thought that's really brave and wrong to say to somebody. You could be doing damage to them if they start to believe that same approach. So
this is I ask this one sometimes. It's like, if you can ask a guest who comes up, if your child had brain cancer, would you, and you could only choose to do one of two things, you can't do both, you can't do neither, you have to choose one course of action, would you pray for their recovery, or would you seek medical assistance? Right. And
of course,
and it kind of forces them to think. Often they'll just dip, dive, dodge, duck, dive, dodge, all around the question. But it really does force them to think a little bit. Like, well, if it was part of God's plan for these children to come out with these horrific abnormalities that completely, remove their ability to enjoy life or being alive. If he could have done something, then why didn't he?
Yeah.
It would cost God absolutely nothing to do something about it when they're in the womb. It would cost God absolutely nothing to do something miraculous when they're out of the womb. Like, what the hell is wrong with God? What the hell is wrong with God? But we know that what does make a difference is intentional human action. People working together towards a goal, solving problems painstakingly, but earnestly. That's what actually makes a difference, not praying for things. And the whole everything happens for a reason thing, it's so annoying, dude.
No,
it's just, it's grating.
I just wondered if other people cringe when they hear that phrase as much as I do. But
oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't even think that it's biblical in any meaningful sense. I don't think it's in the Bible. And I had this conversation even before I deconstructed with my brother. I was like, I don't think that's in there. And we're an argumentative family. So he was arguing it. And I said, I think the closest thing that's in there is all things work together for good to those who love God and are called according to his purpose. And I was like, so there are caveats, and it's him working out the bad thing to something good if you're in the club. But that's
Right.
not
Yeah,
everything happens for a reason. That's like shitty things happen. God can make that fine if you're in the club. Like that's a way
right.
different message.
I think it's also just a logical entailment of, God being all-knowing and all-powerful. Like, if he has this plan that is perfect, then, you know, how are we supposed to square that with these people experiencing so much pain just by birth? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you want that to be the case.
Exactly. Like, if God's plan is perfect also, then you wouldn't pray for things to get better either, because you know that,
Right.
well, if it's part of God's plan for things to get better, then he will make them get better. He's not going to change his plan just at your measly human request.
Right.
It's just all of these plot holes in the theology. It doesn't make any sense.
Incoherent
Meanwhile,
all
we've
the
got to
way
deal
down.
with the
Yeah, and there's an implied premise in the phrase, and that all things happen for a good reason, right? Not just a reason, because if it's always bad things happening to you, at some point you have to say, wait a minute, what if this isn't for a good reason? What if everything's happening for bad reasons? Yeah.
right.
Anyway, I appreciate your guys' thoughts on it. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Randy,
man.
thanks
Thank
for
you so
coming
much.
up. We appreciate you. Thank you
All
so
right,
much
take
for
care.
being here.
Bye bye.
Hey, Sliver, how are you tonight?
Hey guys, I'm doing great. How are you?
Did
Good
you
to
have a
have you,
question
mate.
for Daniel?
Really well.
Great.
Awesome. Yeah, it's actually my first time talking to Daniel. I've been in his live for, gosh, I don't even know, 2.5, 3 years now, or something like that.
So long.
And Joel nearly as long as well. So it's great to finally, talk to you, Daniel, and Joel and Crystal. It's good to meet you guys.
An absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you for your support, dude. It's been
Yeah, of
incredible.
course. I've got a question regarding that in just a minute. But my first question was, so how do you navigate like a conversation with a Christian where they like proudly state that nothing will change their mind? Like, how do you move that conversation forward, and get them to continue, trying to talk about their belief, or even considering, deconstruction topics, because it seems like that's kind of a conversation stopper. So I was just kind of curious
Oh,
what your
yeah.
guys' opinion is.
I mean, at that point, they're a self-proclaimed dogmatist, right? So it's likely not to be fruitful. This is an interesting one, because I don't really get that very often these days. Like, generally, people come up actually interested in the conversation, which feels really nice. But it does still happen. When people are dogmatists like this, you've got a couple of options. It's totally valid for you to say, okay, cool, and then just literally walk away. Because sometimes these people will say things like that because they want to rile you up.
Yeah, true.
And giving them that is like, yeah, here's this non-believer all worked up, proving the Bible right, getting angry at me for having, unshakable faith. So sometimes just going like, okay, and then just leaving.
Yeah.
So you can do that.
That is an option for sure. It does actually rile me up. I'm like, oh, that bothers me so much that you're just like so stuck in that. Because I think if you were a Christian at some time, your thought process may have been that way at some point. Like, this is the thing to believe. Yeah, this is the thing you're supposed to believe, and hold that belief.
Exactly.
But
So
you need to know they might be saying it too, though, like, thou dost protest too much. It might be a wall that they're putting up because they're trying to tell themselves that there is nothing this person can say that would ever break my, faith in God or whatever, because, that's blasphemous. That's sacrilegious. That's hell for them to even question.
Right.
So you
They'll
have
call
to
it
remember
spiritual
too,
warfare.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. I think also like these days, I wouldn't do the whole, okay, and then walk off thing. I'm a little bit more conflict oriented than I used to be. So I'd probably actually say something like, okay, well, do you mind if I ask you some questions then? Because I want to establish openness to the conversation first. And then if they say yes, then I'll ask questions like, if you were in a cult, would you want to know? Or would you rather just be left alone?
Yeah, that is a question. I think they'll immediately get defensive at the word cult. But
yeah, and that's when I would say, oh, I'm not saying you're in a cult. This is like a hypothetical.
Oh,
say,
yeah.
I'm not saying you're in a cult. This is just like a something I'm curious about the way you think. Like, if you were in a cult, hypothetically, would you want to know, or would you rather that everyone just kind of left you alone? Because
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of thing that they'll think about later as well. Like, whether that's the only question you ask them or not, that's the kind of question that they will go home and think about. They're like, oh shit.
Yeah, true.
How would I know if no one ever told me? So, like, I mean, personally, I would ask questions like that, or like, you know, if a Muslim said to you that there was nothing you could say to them about Islam or philosophy or science or anything that could ever make them question Islam, what would you think of that person's ability to think? Would you think that they were being a reasonable, rational person, or would you think that they were being a little bit irrational to not even consider the possibility of being wrong? And again, they'd potentially blow up, and I'd be like, "Look, I'm not saying you're like that. I'm just curious."
Yeah. If nothing
and
else,
again-
it leaves them with, something to think about when they, when you stop the conversation, because like you said, there's not really, most often you're not going to get, through to someone right there and then.
No, exactly.
It's going to be something that happens over a long period of time.
Down the track.
Through their own
exactly.
questioning.
Exactly. So if they ever got heated, I just say, I can tell that this is like a bit of a sensitive topic, so we'll put a pin in it. We can come back to it later if you like, but we don't have to go there. And often that will make them feel a lot more comfortable coming back to you later when they actually do realize they do want to have the conversation. Yeah, so not pushing it for sure, and deciding for yourself whether you even want to engage at all, because you
Right.
do not have to. It's not anyone's responsibility to deconstruct other people. It's just not.
Yeah, I've got to learn myself to be able to kind of disengage when it doesn't feel like there's going to be a fruitful dialogue that continues after that.
Well, it's your choice, right? Ultimately, your choice. Your
Yeah, definitely. If you don't mind, I've got a couple more questions.
No, that's no problem. But can I do a commercial real quick? You guys,
Yeah.
we have been live for over 2 hours. Why am I sitting at only 48,000 likes? Look at who is here. We deserve more likes than that. Start tapping that screen, sharing out the live. I'm still not at the 666 roses. Those are 1 coin each. Let's do the 666. Hail Satan. And I also am looking for subscribers. If you have not subscribed, what are you doing with your life? I bring you Decon Q&A with CrystalJae, non-believers Bible study every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, and conversations with Christians when I pop up with one of those every now and then. And the guests that I have coming up are amazing. We've got Controversial Compass. We have Justin, Deconstruction Zone Justin. Joel is in the works. Mezzo is in the works. Joyful is in the works. I don't know. I probably am forgetting somebody, and if I'm forgetting you, you know I love you. I can't remember who all. But yeah, I've got great guests coming up for Decon Q&A with CrystalJae, where you guys get to come up and ask the questions and talk to your favorite creators. So subscribe today. Less than a cup of coffee a month, and you're subscribed to Netflix, Hulu, Paramount Plus, and Cornhub. And corn is free on the internet. What are you doing? Just cancel those subscriptions and come over and subscribe to small creators like myself. If you've already subscribed, think about gifting out some subscriptions to the chat. There are almost 200 people in here, and a lot of them would love, drop some corn if you want. People would love getting a free subscription. Okay, Sliver, go right ahead and ask your questions. Thank you, guys. Thanks for all the gifts and the likes and the shares and the follows. I love you guys. Thank you.
That's awesome, Crystal. You got a star-studded lineup coming through.
Yes.
Very cool.
I'm excited.
So my next question kind of just relates to some of the things that I've happened upon, you know, scrolling through TikTok. I've come across a few creators that are Christian that happen to be uh, physically disabled, and even a few that have been mentally challenged. And I kind of question the moral implications of talking to them about deconstruction topics. And so, like, sometimes I engage in chat, but sometimes I'm just like, maybe I should move on and not engage here. What is your guys' like opinion on that?
That's a great question too. I feel like if anyone was in the live with like Faceless Prophet,
Yeah.
sometimes goes by Boa Nerges. His name's Daniel. I think he's a good example of someone that I approach very tentatively with very low expectations, and the second that he starts getting worked up, I'm not trying to upset you, man. Maybe I'll just come back another time. So I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with approaching the conversation, but I think that there's something to be said for noticing when it's no longer friendly. You know, it's tricky though, isn't it? It's tricky because I think that there are a lot of people.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who are probably never going to deconstruct. There are a lot of people who are going to go their whole lives never snapping out of it, and that's just like something we have to accept as well. As much as it sucks, and as much as I don't want to give up on anyone either, I think it's worth knowing when to pump the brakes, because there is such a thing as the backfire effect as well, right? Which is, I mean, very well, when you might be having a perfectly productive conversation with someone, and it might actually be having an effect, but if you push it too long and too hard and too fast, then it actually just backfires, and they double down on everything that they were just opening up about. So I think learning to recognize, this is where emotional intelligence becomes so useful, I think, is learning to recognize when someone is becoming less receptive. And then
Yeah,
just
definitely.
choosing to disengage and be like, I fully respect your right to believe what it is that you believe. It's tricky though. It's tricky because you'd love to snap everyone out of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, and even, you know, there's a few people that I follow that are physically disabled, and you know, I don't want to like immediately think that, you know, this is the way that they get that, you know, that sense of support is through a higher power. So
Yeah.
it's hard to like navigate whether, you know, you want to challenge that and potentially, you know, I guess I don't know what's the word, you know, mess up their faith in some way and crumble their sense of support, and but you still want them to be able to know about things that they're potentially not aware of.
Yes. I think that, to be fair, if they're on here running a live stream and taking guests and responding to chat, they have opened themselves up to that.
Yeah.
Right? Like they've come on here expecting that people will question them and respond to the things that they're saying and that kind of thing. So I don't think there's anything, you know, if they're on an app like this running a live stream, I think that you should feel open to engaging them. As long as it's respectful and that kind of thing, I say go for it, because I mean, yeah, I think that they're better off not thinking so lowly of themselves as that they deserve to have been made this way or whatever. It's just, isn't it wild? There's this guy, I think it's like Nick Vujicic or something, Nick Vujicic, not sure. He's an Australian guy, and he is like an evangelist, essentially, like a motivational speaker. And he was born with no arms and no legs. He's essentially, you know, he's got his torso,
I
his
believe I know
head.
who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's pretty famous within, like, you know, evangelist circles. And yeah, he's just super, super Christian. You know, God didn't have to make him the way that he did, but he did. and he's just got this kind of radical optimism and all this kind of thing. And you know, even as a non-religious person, I see this guy and I'm like, man, like what an amazing like what an amazing attitude to have, to be so positive despite having been so profoundly handicapped, right? But I just worry about all of the toxic stuff that comes along with it. You know, I just wonder, you know, when someone does approach someone like Nick, who's preaching this, you know, this positivity, this gratitude, this whatever kind of gospel, but when they do approach them with something like, well, what about what God commanded the Israelites to do to the Midianites? What does he say to that? Does he say, yeah, it was good that God commanded them to, you know, slaughter the boys and take the little girls prisoner? Is that what he says? I'd love to know what he says to that kind of thing.
Right. Or even, you know, isn't there text in the Bible that basically says that disabled people are you know, lesser than, you know, like I believe there's scripture in there that says something about disabled people or people that are missing hands and
There
limbs and
is
stuff like that.
there is scripture in the Old Testament that people take to mean that, but without getting too into the scripture right now, after talking to Rabbi Hannah, it's actually speaking specifically to priests that you could not be disabled and be a priest and walk into the Holy of Holies. You could not. But I think that Joel might remember where, because he does talk about it, there are scriptures that say that sometimes, you know, God just, you know, fucks with somebody, makes them disabled because of him, because he wants to.
Right.
Right.
Which is, I mean, it's just horrific. It's such an asshole thing to do. So, I mean,
yeah.
I think that if they're on here running live streams, you should feel like it's okay to approach them and ask questions.
In a respectful
obviously,
way.
I don't think it's ever okay to be disrespectful
Mm-hmm.
if you can manage otherwise. But yeah, it's a great question.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming up, Sliver.
Sure. I had one more real quick question.
Well, if you let me see if Diver has a question, let me ask some of the other people, and then we'll come back to you, okay? Because Diver's been waiting. Diver, did you have a question for Daniel tonight?
Yes, Daniel, how you doing, friend? Been a bit.
I'm good, man. It's so good to have you up, man.
Yeah, I need to join your lives again, but it's hard. So, one thing I've always wondered since the last time I've been on, what got you into this primarily? I've always quite wondered that. Never really figured that one out.
Sure. I think a few years ago when I had my daughter, well, my wife had my daughter. I didn't really have as much to do with it as she did. I did pull her out, actually. I did catch my daughter. That was pretty epic.
Cool.
But around the time that my daughter was born, that was when Roe v. Wade was overturned. And I remember it just hitting me like a wave, like, what is this world that I've brought this little girl into? Like, what kind of like society is she going to be raised in here? Like, a lot of what happens in Australia politically happens downstream of what happens in the US, right? Not always, but our politics is pretty heavily influenced by American politics. And I remember watching Roe v. Wade be overturned and just thinking, I'm absolutely not going to sit by and do nothing while my country is potentially slowly turned into that as well. I'm not having that. And so I did my first ever live stream because I was just like, I can't do nothing. I have to do something. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I had a background that said something like, you know, which God do you believe in and why? And I ran that background for like a year, I think. I ran it for ages and had all kinds of conversations. But I think initially I was motivated by just wanting to just fight back a little bit against a world that I didn't want my daughter to have to be part of in the future. You know, I didn't want to be on my deathbed and not have tried to change things or stand in the way of you know, oppression. That's what got me started, was just I couldn't do nothing. I just couldn't do nothing, you know.
It amazes me how much kids, you know, impact what you do as a parent.
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Turns everything upside down. If you,
Everything.
I would never encourage someone to have a child if they're not keen, if
Me
they're not
neither.
interested, because it's a big deal. It takes it takes a lot. But tell you what, if you ever do have one, you're going to become a different person. You're going to find
You are.
reserves of like bravery and courage and energy that you never thought possible.
Compassion and empathy and all kinds of things that you thought
Yeah.
you'll never own anything again that is 100% yours, but
No. Nope. Nope.
everything is fair game after you have kids. But Diver, did you have another question, or should I move on?
Yeah, I got one more.
Okay.
Daniel, so when you started this, did you have any idea on? Obviously, you don't try intentionally to get people to deconstruct. In some cases, it just happens, like when we first met.
Yeah.
So do you have any, or did you have anything that you might be able to get some people to deconstruct, or does it just all happen naturally, essentially through conversations?
It's a good question. I think that being able to refer to specific scriptures is really helpful. Like I've been kind of building up a bit of a cheat sheet with passages that are hyperlinked to pages that give specific references from the Bible, because we all know in here the vast majority of Christians have no clue what the Bible says. They've not read it. They've been on the receiving end of whatever their parents or their pastor or their youth group leader or something told them. They've heard all the warm fuzzy stuff, like the Good Samaritan and Jesus loves the children and all that kind of thing. They've got no idea about all of the just abject cruelty and bullying that God visits upon humanity throughout the Bible. So I'd say that being able to refer people to specific scriptures is really helpful. I'd say that learning a bit of like Socratic dialogue, so learning how to ask good questions, that can be really helpful. And also leading by example, so like showing that you as a non-believer, you can be happy, you can have a moral compass, you can find purpose in your life, even if it takes a while. Like you can do all of those things without being religious. Just honestly living by example, that can be massive as well.
Absolutely.
It all adds up, you know. It all adds up. There's so many little things. Just existing as a non-believer, and taking care of your health and taking care of your mental health and that kind of thing. Even that is evidence against Christianity being true sometimes. Because so many of them are completely indoctrinated into thinking that without Christianity you can't be happy, you can't have purpose, you can't find fulfillment. Like it's not possible.
It's so weird. It's
So
impossible.
just be the evidence against that. Take care of yourself, love yourself, live a good life. Explore while you have the time to explore. Just be the example.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I got that. I
Well,
appreciate that.
Diver,
Maybe. Yeah, it's say 2 years ago when you first asked me. You know how many times I ponder that question every time I see your live or every time I see Atheist live. I remember that. How the hell did I believe in this 100%? I don't have a clue, but all it took was one question to essentially snap 23 years of the faith. I'm like, well, that's kind of an eye opener, but
yeah,
it's really nice for me because, like I said, yeah, you were just. It was like what, maybe like I think like an hour and a half discussion, but it was probably one of the most eye-opening things I've ever had conversation wise, and it's kind of glad I did have with you. But thanks for taking the question. You have a good one, man. Thank you, Crystal.
You're so welcome, dude. You're so welcome. It's an absolute pleasure to talk again. Never underestimate the power of the right question, right? The right question will go a long way.
Sliver, I'm sorry, I keep calling you Silver. Why don't you go ahead and ask your last question, and then we'll get on to Tiny and SCG.
Yeah, my last one's pretty quick, and it's just gonna put Daniel on the spot. What's gonna help motivate you to put your live stream recordings on Patreon for the nodes?
Oh God.
Do we need to run like a side donation pool for this or something like that?
No, I honestly, that's down to me being poor at time management. I get, um, whenever I have like a spare moment to myself, I pretty much run live streams because it's so
Yeah.
impactful and it feels so fulfilling.
I agree.
I really do need to use a little bit of that time to set up my Patreon a little bit better and
I
actually
know.
get it rolling. It's just a time management thing, to be honest. That's on me. I
I
will
know
make it happen. It will.
There's
It
so
will
many
happen.
people that would love to, scroll back and rewatch some of the conversations, and even just like some of the the emotionally intelligent topics that you go over and that you use during your conversations. Some of those things are really useful for people that are having these conversations as well. So I would
That
love to
means
see it.
that means a ton, dude. I really do mean it when I say I want to make it happen.
Awesome.
I tried to upload to Patreon like a couple of weeks ago, in fact, and get it started, but it won't let me upload anything longer than like an hour. So I actually need to go through all of my content and edit it down into individual conversations because otherwise I just can't upload anything, which takes
well,
more time, obviously. But
There's probably a
I
solution
really do
out
want
there.
to. I really do. I really do want to do it, man. So I promise it'll happen
No
at
worries.
some point.
Well, thank you so much for having me up, and it was great to talk to you,
Thank
Daniel.
you so
and
much for being here.
thank you, Crystal, for hosting the Q&A. I really appreciate it. Have a good day, you guys.
You too, man.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
All right.
Crystal,
Really good to see you.
I must ask, would you give me 60 seconds to sprint to the bathroom? Perhaps we could.
Absolutely. You
I'll-
go
perhaps we
sprint
could-
away.
I mean, you've got Tiny, you've got Joel. Like people could just ask them questions for a bit. I mean, they're more entertaining than I am
Maybe
anyway.
Joel will sing a song for us. Maybe.
So that'd be
Maybe.
incredible.
Wouldn't that be cool? Maybe I could mute Joel.
Crystal, how dare
Joel, I need you to do a stupid little theme song for Divine or Decline. Like I really
Oh, that's a
need
good
one.
idea. Yeah, let me
I need one really dumb.
let me try that. Do you have a way to? Can you play it through your computer, or you have to put the
I
mic
am
up?
going to be at that place where I can do that, but right now what I do is use my iPad and play it.
Just hold
near
it
my
up.
mic.
Because you're
Yeah,
using
that's what I do
TikTok
right now.
Studio, right?
Not right now. I'm getting
okay.
a new computer. I was, but it is just too taxing on my
Yeah.
computer, so I have to get a new one, and then I'll get. That's why my background doesn't move anymore or anything because yeah, I had to go back to the phone and my laptop and OBS. So.
All right. Well, I have a question for Tiny. Actually, I have a question for SCG. SCG, when are you gonna deconstruct?
Not anytime soon, man.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on. I doubt that.
We're fine.
I mean, I've already deconstructed once and reconstructed, but like, not the point of this live. I'm not here to debate.
I know. I
I'm
was just
here to
killing
see other
time.
people's
I'm just teasing.
perspectives.
I'll make you cookies. How about that?
Right? And we'll play Mario Kart with you, me and Tiny will. We're gonna play.
We have a welcoming
Yeah, let's
committee
do
to
that.
get you hooked.
We do
Ah,
have a
man.
welcoming community.
I appreciate it, but no thanks.
All right. All right. If you're gonna be stubborn. No. Okay. Hey Tiny, how are you tonight?
I'm doing all right. Can't complain. How about yourself?
Doing great. Tiny was my guest earlier this week. If you weren't here, you didn't get a chance to listen to it. All of my Decon Q&As are on my YouTube channel. I am CrystalJae, J-A-E at the end. Crystal spelled just like the glass. So you guys can check out that and all my previous episodes. There's an episode with Joel and Mezzo that is completely chaotic. You can go listen to that. There's Justin Deconstruction. There is Thinker, Christina Carroll, Eloso Ray. I don't even remember everybody. Dugald. I could never list all of them. There's been so many. And so if you want, check those out on my YouTube. Tiny, did you have a question for Monsieur Daniel tonight?
Bonjour.
Yeah. What is the worst theist experience that you've had?
As in the worst,
Like on TikTok, like the worst conversation, the worst guest.
Oh, dude, that's so hard. I feel like, man, Darth Dawkins came on one time, and that lasted about 3 minutes before he was just like, "Oh, I'm done. You're too adolescent," and I was like, "Okay, cool. Thanks for coming, dude." It's hard. I'd say his just not enjoyable. Like for me,
I
even
think
when
he
someone
finishes the same way in bed, don't you, Daniel? Like he rage quits with all of his partners. I'm done with you.
Sure.
If you're not going to
You can
finish, I'm
jack
just
it.
going to leave. I don't have to be here.
You're just acting like a teenager right now.
That's literally. I thought you were literally like riffing off of me saying, "Oh, you're too adolescent." I was like, Jesus, yeah.
Okay,
I
maybe
don't know how
that
to
too.
think
I
about
don't know. I don't think so. I'm not trying to put him there, but yeah.
that's what I thought you were going for, and I was like, CrystalJae with the zingers.
No.
I'd say, yeah. I mean, if I were in bed with Darth Dawkins, I would expect him to finish that way. Yeah, that was particularly unenjoyable because I feel like Darth Dawkins, it's just so predictable. I find him really boring, personally, because it's just the same thing over and over again.
Right.
But when someone comes up and they just won't take turns. I get really pissed off by people who won't take turns. So any theist who wants to just talk for kind of 10 minutes at a time, but then the second I try to respond, and they just start up again when I'm halfway through a sentence. To me, that's like super unenjoyable. Specific creators, I'd say. I feel like Jason's really hard to. He's really hard to engage with, just because he's so loud and so. His blinders
That's
are on
so
tightly.
wrong.
He's just so annoying, like just so incorrect about so many things, and because he just mutes everyone, you can't actually address any of the misinformation that he's putting out there. Jason's pretty frustrating. Q-Top, I was on Q-Top's live once for like about 5 minutes, and he blocked me. He does not like me.
Blocked me too.
Yeah. I remember
I
getting
blocked
on.
him.
I was really proud of myself. You know, I got up there and I was preemptively. Yeah, may as well.
I
Honestly.
did, but
There's
of
not-
course
there's-
I'm not young enough for him anyway, because he is into that. I'm sorry.
Well,
I got
well,
digress.
yeah. No, this is as far as we can tell. Well, we've got the receipts, right? So
Yeah, we do.
I
Personally, I call him Top.
Yeah, like yeah, right.
Q Kelly, Q Bottom.
Oh, this is
Everybody's got great names for him.
Q Diddy's a good one. I think there's this other creator on here who doesn't go live as often, but Ziego. It's like Diego with a Z.
Oh
my goodness!
Yeah, that's one of Q-Top's good friends.
Exactly. It's just so toxic, unbelievably toxic. That yeah, there's a couple on here that I stay away from. I'd say those are probably.
Have you ever experienced No Degree Required? Have you talked to him?
Yeah, no degree was on maybe a month ago. And he was cordial with me. He came on. He was perfectly respectful towards me. I've heard people say that they really struggle with him. For whatever reason, he was pretty amenable with me. I mean, he says some pretty horrific stuff. Let's be honest. Saying horrific things in a calm, cordial way doesn't make them non-horrific. So I certainly don't appreciate his perspective on a lot of things. But he was cordial to me at least. So yeah.
Well, Daniel, that's because he cooked you. Because he told me. So he tells me every time he leaves alive with one of you guys, no matter how bad you cook him, he goes out right away and tells everybody that he cooked you. And it's just hilarious.
He's never lost a debate,
Never
according
lost.
to him. He's never
No.
lost. Yeah, like
He
Russell.
cooked Matt Dillahunty, you guys. He's
Damn.
cooked hit. Wait, who else did he cook? Somebody who's no longer with us. I can't remember. One of them.
Socrates.
Oh yeah, he did. He cooked
Yeah.
Socrates for sure.
Absolutely demolished him. Yeah. I think
Who
yeah, no,
we
look, I'd have another conversation with him. I think I kind of measure it by like, would I have this person up again or not? And I
Hitchens.
remember
It was
thinking,
Hitchens.
oh, he would destroy Hitchens. Um, yeah, I think I would have no degree required again because he was conversational with me at least. So
Oh, you're talking about Matt Adams.
Matt Adams, I don't know his
That's no
his
degree.
government
Yeah,
name.
that's
That's
Matt
no
Adams.
degree.
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew him
Um,
before he was on TikTok, so
Okay.
Didn't you meet him on
SC
Discord?
I knew him before Discord. I knew him on since Clubhouse.
Oh.
I don't know. Clubhouse.
SCG, did you have a question for Daniel tonight?
I mean, I have a few. Like, first of all, how are you all? Like, how are you good? Are you good?
Very well. Thanks so much,
Doing
man. I
good.
hope you're well too.
Yeah, thanks. I am. So, my question, like, would be, I suppose that you guys were raised Christian, right?
I was. Yeah.
And yeah, so my honest question would be like, are there practices that you still maintained from back when you were a Christian that are connected to Christianity, or are there any aspects of it that that, let's say, cultural aspects that you still view as good? And you know, if it's true, what aspects would it be?
I can't say that I do. No, you know, I used to pray. I used to do communion. I used to, you know, all that kind of thing. I don't. No, there's nothing that I do now that I can attribute wholly to the way that I was to my Christian upbringing. No, I mean I still eat and drink and sleep but I mean I don't think, yeah, I don't think that's got anything to do with my Christian upbringing. No, I don't. Yeah, I can't say that I do.
Not even celebrating Christmas.
No, I do gratitude day instead.
Oh, I mean, are there any like viewpoints on Christianity from Christianity on the world that you still see, you know, such as let's say, you know, Christian art or something like that, or some like, you know, viewpoints that are held in Christianity that you agree with?
Look, this is a bit of a point of conflict for me. I love architecture. I'm a bit of a nerd in that way. Like I love architecture, and churches for me are just like so beautiful. I love churches. Like architecturally speaking, the history of church architecture, like the engineering that goes into them, the artistry that goes into them. I love churches. Like I could spend all day in a single church just wandering around looking at how it's put together and stuff. I love it. I really do. But I also recognize that they are the product of blood money. You know, they're the product of like violence and imperialist colonialism, and they're used as a tool by the ruling class to maintain control over the population by way of like awe, essentially, just amazing the gullible into submission. So I have this kind of love-hate relationship with churches. I really do love them.
Yeah.
Like I think they're amazing. But I also can't separate them from what they are functionally in society, and I think that they are something quite disgusting when it comes to what they do to people psychologically. Christian art, I would say. I mean, like, some of the most incredible artists in history, they did all of this religious art, but not necessarily because they were religious. Largely because, you know, that's who had all the money. They were pieces commissioned by the church and painted by people who were not religious. So you know you could look at these, you know, like a lot of these Renaissance painters. They weren't all religious, but the religious government at the time is who had all of the money. So if you wanted to stay in work, you wanted to be able to pursue your passion, you had to take commissions from those people. So I love their artistry, sure. I think honestly, Islamic art is some of my favorite. I don't have any in this room with me. I'm super inspired by like MC Escher and Islamic artwork. I do a lot of geometric artwork. Like I take these impossible shapes and I tessellate them and create these kind of these patterned spaces with all of this impossible geometry going on. I really love it. And it's, again, like I said, it's heavily inspired by Islamic geometry. But again, I also recognize that Islamic art
Did I freeze?
classes have tried to basically,
That was him.
you know,
Okay.
amaze people into submission.
We didn't hear
So,
all that, Daniel. Daniel, you froze for a minute. So you said I also realized
Oh.
Islamic art, and then we didn't hear the rest of that.
oh, sure. I said I also recognize that Islamic art proves that Islam is true. So that's why I'm thinking. No, I'm joking. Islamic art to me is so beautiful. but I also recognize that it is a tool that the Islamic ruling class have used to basically kind of amaze people into submission. Like, look at how intricate this artwork is. It couldn't be possible if it weren't for God and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I
one of
still
the
love a
problems I
lot of
have
these
with-
artifacts.
The problem I have with all the Christian artifacts is that every time I see a Christian piece of art or artifact, I am reminded of the thousands upon thousands that they've destroyed from other cultures and other religions just because they weren't theirs. And that sickens me. And
Yep,
it makes me not appreciate them as much because I'm like, what am I missing because this still exists, you know? So
Yeah. Like I could still listen to a Switchfoot album and it'll take me back to when I was 16, 17 years old. And I love it. I'll always have a soft spot for, like Switchfoot or Toby Mac or someone.
Yeah.
As cringeworthy as it is. But I can separate the artwork from the artist enough to know that while they might create something beautiful, it doesn't mean that their religion is true. You know?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not here to discuss whether or not it's true. I'm here to see other people's perspectives, as I said earlier. So
Yeah,
you
of
know,
course.
another thing, if I could ask, just a little thing that I would like to comment on. You know, I've always lived in Orthodox countries, so it's, you know, you've got some churches that are like more big, more beautiful, all that, but you know, some, and I might doubly trigger you.
love
What
you,
I have
Joel.
always
Thanks
preferred,
for being here.
what I have always preferred were like those humble little churches, you know, that the villagers just built, and you know, it looks like a small house, but you know, it's used as a church. That's something that always sticks to me.
Yeah, fair enough.
So yeah, another question.
Wait, before you do, wait before you do, because we are running down on time. I just have to ask Daniel if he's okay staying over about a half hour longer than we planned. Is that okay?
Absolutely. That sounds great to me.
Okay.
This is a blast. This
All
is
right.
really fun.
Okay, great. Go ahead, SCG. I just wanted to make sure, okay?
From your accent, I can conclude that you're British, right?
Close. I'm Australian, so I'm kind of like a British mutant.
Thanks,
a mutation
Tiny.
of the British, yeah.
DLC. Have you ever listened to Black Sabbath?
Yeah, I really like their music. The
Do
early
you
stuff,
prefer Dio or
specifically.
Ozzy?
I'm not really familiar with Dio's music, to be honest with you.
Oh.
I
You
really
gotta
like
listen to
early
it.
Sabbath. Early Sabbath is great stuff.
Oh man, Heaven and Hell, Mob Rules. What's the other? Devil, you know, all great albums. You have to listen to that, man.
I've got some homework. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you know, rest in peace to Ozzy. I appreciate him, but for me, like, Dio will always be the king. So yeah, that's about it from me. Have a great day.
Okay, well, thanks for
Yeah,
being
all the
here,
best, man. All the
SCG.
best.
Tiny had to drop down. Joel had to drop down, and then I'm sorry we didn't get to. I think it was Monkey. I didn't see his name. I'm so sorry. Happy Dad, are you still with us? Happy Dad is teacupped.
It's quiet, Dad.
You guys, if you have any questions, the guest box is open. Just come on up, request up. If you're over on the YouTubes, send your question in the chat. I'll be happy to read it out. I don't know who you're saying go up to.
I could
Go up
I
where?
could just get a bit more antagonistic if you want. I could, like, do a bit more. I was watching Joel and Mezzo's appearance on here last night to try and get a bit of a feel of how it works. I could just start making a real mess of it if you want. Get some more people in and.
I appreciate that. Could you draw
Crystal,
a dick on a
what kind of-
whiteboard?
What kind
Hello.
of cut rate production are you running here, Crystal? Oh, here we go. Caleb's back.
It's me again. Yeah, I'm back. I just
Okay,
figured
go
since no
ahead,
one was up
Caleb.
here. Yeah, I figured since no one was up
That's
here, I'd
fine.
jump up real quick. So I was really just wondering if you'd ever heard this argument before, because, of course you've heard the argument of evil, and that I feel like that's the number one best argument against Christianity that I could think of. But the common cop out for that, of course, is free will. But the question that I just randomly thought of like a couple days ago was, if someone is paralyzed, do they still have free will? So essentially, is will the same thing as ability to carry out that will?
This is a great question, man. Whenever I talk to someone about the free will thing, I have a definition of free will that I hold to, right? Which I think makes it very clear that we don't have free will. If free will, I'll say it to a guest like this. I'll say, well, if free will is the ability to act and choose and make decisions independently of any influence or and unimpeded in any way, then no, it's very obvious that we don't have free will, because we're constantly under the influence. We're constantly being influenced by our immediate environment, the way that our brain has been conditioned in childhood, how hydrated we are, what kind of chemicals are out of whack in our body at any point. We're constantly being influenced by way of neurochemistry that we're not conscious of into doing and saying and choosing everything that we do and say and choose. So it's very obvious that we don't have free will. But that only works if they accept that definition.
Right.
Like if they have some other definition that in their mind is the one that they're actually arguing about, I have to get that out of them. I have to find out. So when you say free will, what do you mean? And then when they tell me, usually it doesn't make any sense. It's totally incoherent. And then we can clarify, and then we can move on from there.
Right.
I think free will is an example of a point that's worth spending just a moment defining terms with.
Yeah,
a lot of the
definitely.
time you don't necessarily have to worry about defining terms so much, because people kind of get what everyone's getting at. But I find that people get really confused about what the hell free will even is. Some people just essentially, a lot of the time when I'm talking to Christians, they think it means the same thing as choice.
Yeah.
It's not
I
the
think
same thing.
that's like exactly my point, is that I think a lot of the time Christians don't really know what they mean by free will, and I think like exactly what you're saying, like breaking it down is really, as you necessarily have to believe that we have free will, unless you're like a Calvinist, of course. I mean, you can think that we don't have free will, but like most Christians would believe that we have free will, but most Christians don't exactly know what they mean by that, because I've asked at least 20 different Christians the same exact question. If someone is paralyzed from the neck down, do they still have free will? And all 20 of them answered yes, right? And so clearly they don't believe that free will is like the ability to act on your will, or act on whatever your will is, right? So clearly they think that will is just like a desire to do something. So
or the ability to choose, even like
Yeah.
often they'll they'll make it readily apparent pretty quickly that they think that free will is just when you choose option A or over option B. Well, I don't think that's free will. That's choice. That's choice
Right.
making. Whereas free will is the ability to do that without any influence.
Hi, can I jump in there on that if you don't mind?
In just a moment,
Yeah.
Mike.
Oh, okay.
Well, I go right up the line here.
Yeah, and
No,
honestly,
I
I don't want to
agree.
take up too much time. Yeah, go ahead, Crystal. My
No,
bad.
that's cool. I
No,
was only going
you're
to say
fine.
there are so many ways in which free will doesn't make sense, right? Like even as someone who's non-religious, I don't believe in free will. Like, there's no, you can't have free will either way, but
Right.
because they attach to this particular concept, they can hold on to the illusion for much longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if God is all-knowing and always has been, it's not possible for you to exercise your will free of influence because he chose to set this universe in motion over any other, knowing full well everything that would happen ahead of time if he did, which means you can't
Yeah.
surprise him. You can never choose anything other than what he's always known you were going to choose as a result of his action initially. You
Right.
could say if he's got a perfect plan, well, he's not going to change it at any point, and that includes if everything comes under the plan. Well, that includes all of your thoughts. Otherwise, it's not all encompassing. You know, there's just too many loopholes in the theology. Free will, and even the Bible just outright says in like half a dozen passages that we don't have free will.
Yeah.
So it's a great one. I find that comes up a lot actually lately. I feel like there's a bit of a trend in Christian circles to come onto, you know, deconstruction lives and bring up free will lately.
Yeah, definitely. And
And you know, when they're talking about suffering, Caleb, one of the things they can't use free will to get away from is the amount of suffering that God, and I'm not even a vegan or a vegetarian or anything. I'm telling you this as a meat eating woman. All of the needless suffering to animals throughout the Bible. So
Exactly.
what are you talking about? Like why did we need to drown all the animals? That drowning is so horrific for any living creature to drown, and he drowned all the animals because humans were sinning. It doesn't make
Right.
sense. The stories don't add up, and there is no free will involved in that. You know, that wasn't anything the animals did. They had no free will. Happy Dad, glad you're back. Did you have a question for Daniel tonight?
I do. Yeah, I have a question. I'm curious how you deal with people that can't seem to use reason. Like they just can't connect the dots on stuff that's laid out so clearly for them. Like the example of the rock so heavy you can't lift, and they'll say, yes, he can create it. Well, then can he lift it? Yes, he can lift it. Well, then he couldn't. It wasn't too heavy. Yeah, well, like they just go in circles and they can't connect the dots. Like how? That's where I start banging my head against the wall, and I admire your patience because I lose it when people can't use reason.
Yeah, sure. No, I totally appreciate that. For me, it becomes just an opportunity to put irrationality on display for the audience. You know, at that point, it just becomes obvious that I'm not going to get through to this person in this moment. So I'm just going to let them keep believing it in front of an audience. And the audience they can make their own judgment at that point, you know? And also just remembering that it's not my responsibility to deconstruct these people. I love it. I love providing a space within which the conversation can be had, but it's not my job to deconstruct a person. If I fail at it, I don't owe it to anyone really. I find fulfillment in it. So if someone comes up and they're clearly just too rigid in their thought processes to recognize that they're being circular, or that they're, you know, the argument's invalid or whatever. Honestly, if we've gone in circles more than like 2 or 3 times, I just leave it at that. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, look, that doesn't make sense. Do you want to move on to a different topic, or should we put a pin in it for now and we'll come back later? But it's just, I just don't see that it's worth losing my peace over, to be honest. You know, I just
when
value.
you ask them if they want to put a pin in it. I really like it when you do that.
Super helpful. Super helpful.
It really is helpful because they often come back and talk to you other nights and have very good conversations. And when the conversation is going nowhere, it's such a nice way to move it along or whatever. It's very nice. I like it a lot.
I think it's great too. I think Anthony Magnabosco on YouTube is great at this. He's the guy who runs the Street Epistemology YouTube channel, and he hangs out at university campuses, and he'll just stand out in the quad, just waiting for people to walk by in between classes or whatever. And he never approaches anyone. He just waits till people walk up to him and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing here? What's this thing you're doing?" And then he'll explain it to them.
Oh,
and
I'm going to be that guy tonight.
look, it's pretty brave in a sense. But he, at the end of the conversations, he'll give them a puzzle piece. And it's one of 3. I don't know where he gets them from, but there's little sets of 3 puzzle pieces that clip together to make like a little circle or something. Okay, here, take one. Let's call it for now, but take this with you, and maybe you can come back next time and get a second one off me. So it kind of incentivizes people to want to come back and re-engage another time after having gone off to process the conversation for a bit. I really love when people come back. You know, they like almost every time they'll come back and they'll say, "Look, you got me thinking about this thing or that thing." And you know, I'll never know exactly what landed with them in a moment, but they'll come back and they'll let me know what did land, and I'll go, "Oh, okay, cool. Well, you know, where did it take you? What are you thinking now? What's on your mind?" And I find that just knowing when to put the pin in it and say, "Let's try again later," it's so valuable. It's a long game. It's a marathon, not a sprint with deconstruction.
Crystal, and I didn't know this was just a big blow smoke up Daniel's room, up his butt, right? It seems like
I'm sorry, Mike. It's called. I'm sorry, Mike.
I know. It's not my room. It's your room, and it's not my business.
Yeah, I don't know why you keep talking. I'm the host, and it's called Decon Q&A with CrystalJae, and our guest tonight is Daniel. I'm sorry if that upset you. If you'd like your own Decon Q&A with CrystalJae, you can cash out me $19.95. That's $1,995, and I'll do a Decon Q&A with just you. Okay? And we'll ask
That's a
you
good
the
price
questions.
too. That's a great
Yeah,
price.
I think it's a deal.
What a steal.
That's amazing.
So
Thank
Caleb,
you,
we're
Daniel.
happy. Did you have any other questions, guys?
Yeah,
No,
I
I
have one more.
I appreciate it. I'll drop down. Thanks, guys. And thanks for this all-star lineup roster you've done the last 2 hours. This has been awesome.
Thank
Hey,
you.
thanks so
Thank
much,
you
Happy.
so
Nice
much.
to talk to you, man.
So mine was
Very
more,
nice
less
to
of
meet you.
mine was less of like a question and more of a statement, I guess. But I was just gonna it was like a closing statement on what we were talking about before, which is I think there's a lot of value in like poking holes in like the theology at all levels, because I absolutely agree with you, Daniel, that free will, it doesn't make any sense under Christian theology. Suffering or evil as a concept, it doesn't make sense for it to exist under Christian theology. But it's really hard for Christians to accept something that foundational a lot of the time. So if you can like poke holes in something that's a little bit less foundational, like say animal suffering, like Crystal, like you were talking about, animal suffering,
Yeah.
that's not necessary, right? And that's a little
Right.
bit easier for them to approach than something so foundational like all evil or all free will. Or you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. I totally agree. Like you think about, were you Christian for long? Were you raised Christian or something? Or
Yeah, I was.
yeah, I think I remember you saying in our lives, like you know just as well as the rest of us, like it's not one thing, right? It's not one thing that
No.
pushes you over that tipping point. It's like an accumulation of ideas and questions and facts that over time overwhelm your ability to tell yourself that you think Christianity is true. So I totally agree that it's the little things, it's the big things, it's all of it. I agree.
Yeah. And for me, it was really easy because I have an obsessive personality naturally. So when I noticed that there was one thing wrong, like really, really wrong with the Christian theology, I kind of dove in, right? And I started looking at everything, and then eventually I realized like, hey, pretty much none of this makes sense. And if like almost all of it doesn't make sense, then how can I take it seriously, right? But I think a lot of people don't do that. They see there's one thing wrong with it, and then they explain it away by saying, oh, maybe I just can't understand God, or maybe there's one thing wrong, but the rest of it is so valuable, right? And so they just move on and they don't think about it.
Yeah, and it's different for every, like the reason for believing is different for so many people too. Like it's not for some people it's because they were raised in it, they don't know any different. For some people it's that they had some kind of psychological experience that they don't understand the explanation for, so they just jump to the conclusion that it was God or Jesus or something. For other people it's that they don't understand evolution or cosmology or anything,
right?
So they just can't wrap their head around it, so they just go with religion instead. For some people it's that they're just too afraid of a godless world that's basically just down to us to take care of. They just can't fathom making their own moral compass. They can't fathom constructing their own sense of purpose. It's different for everyone.
Yeah.
It's so different. Some people have a near-death experience, and for them, they're convinced that proves it. It depends who you're talking to, right? There's so many different reasons for someone holding to the religion in the first place.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's the only thing I wanted to say really, was that I think there's a lot of value to trying to poke holes at things that aren't super foundational, because it can be a little bit easier for Christians to approach that. So yeah, that's all.
Absolutely.
Can be. Totally, man.
Yeah, see you guys.
So nice to talk
Thanks
to you
again,
man. Take
Caleb.
care.
Yeah,
Caleb,
you too.
we're gonna play a game here if you want to stay up.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
you
What's the
guys,
game?
if you're in the chat and you want to come, Quan, I saw you. You should come up here. You guys, we're about to play everybody's favorite game. I mean, it is just taking the internet by storm. Divine or Decline. It's the game I made up that everybody hates. So, Granazana, I see you. You better come up here. Let's get some of the friendlies up here now, and let's play Divine or Decline. And you'll see the stickers. There's your little stickers that you could use to play the game.
Oh, this is
And
cute.
we've got a few more spaces. Oh, okay, there's no points. I'm gonna say a phrase. Timothy or Timotheus, come on up if you want to play. I'm going to say a phrase. If it is from the New American Standard Bible specifically, because it's copyright free, then it's divine. Okay? But if it is from the Holy Quran, if it is from the Book of Mormon, or if I made it up, it's Decline. And then I start from the top here and we go down the panel and we get their answers. So there's room for 2 or so more people. If you want to come up and play, we're about ready to get started.
This is cool. I'm having PTSD flashbacks actually. I was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire one time, and this is feeling very
No, you're kidding me. You were?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
it was
so
wild.
cool.
You knew you were smart.
full of
So
flashbacks.
cool.
I'd like to
Okay.
offer Daniel a little comfort and say, Daniel, don't worry about it. You're fine. You're not going to beat me.
They're like, I'm far from being across the whole Bible, so I don't expect to win this.
The
but I will do my
beauty
best.
of this game is that they all plagiarize from each other and from other things. So that's what makes this game so fun. Okay.
Exactly.
While we play the game, you guys don't forget all Michael's. Thank you for the 123,000 likes. You guys knocked that out of the park. I appreciate you so much. I still need subbies, so if you haven't subscribed, do it. And I've got some little astronaut guy for my gift goal now. You guys knocked the 666 out of the park too. Thank you so much. Thank you for gifting Daniel. Gift my panelists too that are up here. Subscribe to the YouTube and do all the good things. Is everybody ready to play? Grana, we're going to start with you and work our way down, okay?
Oh boy.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Before them, the people of Noah disbelieved. They rejected our servant and said crazy, and he was rebuked. Thank you, Kat.
They said
Grana.
crazy. They said crazy, and he was rebuked.
Yep, that's what they said.
I'm gonna go with decline, but I think I'm wrong.
All right. Okay, Kwan.
I'm gonna go with decline, but I think I'm right.
Okay.
What version of the
By
Bible
the
did you say
way,
this is again? I'm sorry.
New American Standard.
Hmm.
By the way, Kwan, I saw your minis. So freaking cute. Okay, I love the mermaid. So cute. I was watching when you were showing those.
You know what?
earlier.
I'm gonna be the oddball. I'm gonna say divine. Let's do it. I don't know
All
why.
right.
I think I'm probably wrong,
Daniel.
but let's do it.
So like I'll go decline. It feels a bit more Quranic, perhaps. I don't know. I'll go decline.
Does it feel Quranic? Yes, it does, because that is from the Holy Quran, Al-Qamar, the moon, 54 something. I somehow deleted what verse it was. 54 something, you guys. Somebody's requesting out. Who is this? Taharka, you want to play with us? Oh, it was a mistake? Okay. All right, number 2. The wise man rises early and sets his foot to the task. The fool slumbers and must tarry in the heat of the day. Grana.
Divine.
All right, Kwan.
It's gonna feel like I'm copying off of Grana, but
All right, Caleb.
I'll say divine. That genuinely sounds like something from the Bible.
Okay, Daniel.
Yeah, that's got that biblical goodness on top, for sure. Yeah, that's divine.
That's funny because everybody always tries to tell me that I was never really a Christian, and yet I wrote that verse right there. So
I knew it was
apparently I was.
It was either
That
Crystal
was-
or
That's
Proverbs.
crazy.
I knew.
That
Is
was-
this Crystal's Proverbs or Proverbs? You know?
You could start, Crystal. I don't want to. I just want to put this out there. You could very, very effectively start up a cult. I mean, you've got the
I
lingo
know I
down.
could.
Like you've got the
Absolutely.
cadence. You've got the grammatical structure down. That was perfect.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. Okay,
That's
but
all.
when some bounty from God comes to you, he says, as if no affection existed between you and him. If only I had been with him, I would have achieved a great victory. Grana.
Oh my gosh. Oh, dear heavens. I'm going to go with decline.
All right, Kwan.
yeah, Book of Mormon, decline.
Okay, Caleb.
I'm declining. It doesn't sound biblical to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay.
Well,
Daniel.
it's definitely nonsense. Yeah, so it could be any of them, couldn't it? I'll go.
It could be any of them, right?
Yeah. I'll go decline. Yeah.
That is from the Quran. That is on Nicaea. I don't know. 473. All right.
Of course.
Next time. And he said unto him, Brother, we have found an accusation against thee, and thou art worthy of death. Granted.
I'm hoping that's divine because that sure sounds like it.
Okay, Kwan.
Can I switch places with Grana so it's not like I'm
I know it's always hard to go first because then you're like, oh wait.
I totally think it's biblical. I think it's David.
Okay, Caleb.
That could be Quran, but I'm gonna say divine. But it could be either or.
I'm
Daniel.
gonna copy Minnie just to show her how it feels.
Okay, you guys, that is decline. That is Book of Mormon, Mosiah 17:7.
That'll show you,
The
Daniel.
golden plates, man. Golden plates.
I know. Those. Okay, wait. Timotheus wants to come up now. We're going to let him play with us.
Oh,
for the rest
good.
of the game. You won't be first anymore.
Yep.
Okay, Timotheus, you ready?
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Wait,
Yeah,
is,
we can
is
hear
he
you.
Christian? Is he
Awesome,
Christian?
awesome.
I don't
No,
know.
no,
I'm...
deconstructed.
I don't know.
Definitely embarked
I just let him up.
So you're
Okay.
deconstructed. That means I can copy off of you because the Christians never read the Bible. Waka waka.
That's a fact. Okay. Concerning evil, both hands do it well. The prince asks also the judge for a bribe, and a great man speaks the desire of his soul, so they weave it together. Timotheus.
What is it's divine or deny,
Divine
right?
or decline? Divine or decline?
Okay, so I'd say decline. That sounds like Quran.
Decline.
Okay. Decline for two of them. Quan?
Me and Timothy say decline.
All right, Caleb.
I'm also saying decline.
All
Sorry,
right,
copy the
Daniel.
others.
I agree that it sounds a little Quranish, so I'm going to go
Oh,
with
no.
decline too.
I'm really disappointed in you sinners and heathens because that comes right from the prophet Micah.
No.
That is Micah 7:3. A little obscure book there for you. Okay. And you will be repaid only for what you used to do. Timotheus.
Decline.
Grana.
Divine. I don't know why.
Okay, Quan.
Oh goodness. Used to do. Decline.
All right, Caleb.
I'll say divine and split the odds.
Hey, Daniel.
Yeah, look, I think at this point I've got as good of a chance of, getting heads or tails right, so I'm just going to go with divine.
Okay, it's decline. That is the Holy Quran. As Safat. I don't know how to say these words. 3739. Okay, next. And they gave thanks to God, yea, all their men and all their women and all their children that could speak lifted their voices in the praises of their God. Timotheus.
I'm gonna have to go with divine.
All right, Grana.
Divine.
All right, Quan.
Decline.
Okay, Caleb.
It has to be divine. There's no way.
All right,
Crystal
Daniel.
divine.
I'm going to phone 4 friends and go with divine. Yeah.
Okay, that was declined. That was the Book of Mormon, Mosaic 24:22.
God damn it.
Jeepers. This is a hard one today.
I
Did you just
know.
like decide to challenge Daniel or something?
I just kind of was grumpy when I was writing this up. Actually, I was grumpy.
It's so
Not
hard.
gonna lie.
It really does
I
just
think what
kind
we're
of
learning
all-
is that they all sound the same.
Yep.
Yeah, they all just blur into one incoherent, rambling
Right?
jumble of nonsense, right? So
Right?
it's just so hard to.
So, like, when people come to you, they're like, "But there's this verse in the Bible." Okay, there's some in the Quran, the Book of Mormon, and Crystal makes them up all the time too.
Which are the best.
The Book of CrystalJae.
Oh, I
Okay,
like that.
there are. By the way, if you guys are in my Discord, link is in my bio. In my Discord, at the end of the shows now, I'm putting all the divine or decline questions and answers. So you guys can check that out in the Discord. There are perhaps a great many kinds of languages in the world, and no kind is without meaning. Timotheus.
Divine. It's got to be divine here sooner or later.
Okay, Grana.
That is from the book of Thank You, Captain Obvious, which is also known as the Bible. Divine.
Okay, Quan.
Still gonna decline it.
Okay, Caleb.
Oh, go divine.
All right, Daniel.
That sounds like some CrystalJae propaganda right there. I'm gonna go with that one. So decline.
That that was actually divine. That's 1 Corinthians 14:10.
That's what I mean.
All
You really could do this.
number
You really could write this stuff.
They treated
No,
us damn.
it's actually
together.
pretty much a bunch of platitudes and evil shit in the Bible. That's about all there is, really. If you want, slaughter your revenge on somebody or, be blessed, then you've got
Speak
it.
a language
Okay.
and you will be
Right, just
communicating.
learn
Well, thank you.
Christianese. And they trembled in fear of the Lord. They fell on their faces and begged for mercy. Timotheus.
Oh, I don't know if it's the Holy Spirit or some bad gas, but I'm feeling that's divine.
Okay, Grana.
Honestly, I bet you we could find something like that in every single one of these, including the book of CrystalJae. But I'm going to go with divine.
All right, Quan.
Yeah, Bible God's pretty gnarly. Divine.
All right, Caleb.
Yeah, I agree that that one could be anywhere, but let's say divine. Let's say divine.
All right, Daniel.
I'm almost certain I've heard that in the Bible, so I'm going to go divine.
I'm almost certain that you read the Book of Crystal because that was mine made
knew
a
it.
decline.
Why didn't I
She's
say
too
decline?
good.
I
She's
knew
too
it.
good.
Oh my gosh.
I
Too
can't
good.
believe
Because they
you.
always fall on their faces, and I always
Yep,
picture them
yep.
breaking their face, you know? Stop falling on your faces.
Oh.
At this point,
Stand
I
up.
honestly,
Also,
I honestly have to wonder if like anything I'm reading is like not you at this point. Like it could just be you writing all of this stuff.
I am old enough to have written the
He's a time
Bible.
traveler.
You should write your own translation. I'd rather read that than the KJV.
I really should. I want to write the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle translation because
Yes.
sometimes when people ask in chat, like, what translation are you reading? I put the TMNT, and then immediately Christians start telling me what a horrible translation that is. And everybody else is laughing because they know what TMNT stands for. Meanwhile, Christians are telling me that I have picked the worst translation ever. Now, I kind of want to make it happen, a TMNT translation.
What would be the
Cowabunga.
Trinity in
Well,
that?
I don't know.
Every
I
time
don't know.
the disciples, instead of praising Jesus, they just go cowabunga.
Yeah, cowabunga for sure.
Instead of bread, they broke pizza. Thank you later.
Yes, they broke pizza. For sure. Okay, near is the great day of the Lord, near and coming very quickly. Listen, the day of the Lord. In it, the warrior cries out bitterly. Timothy, this is number 10, by the way. This is for all the marbles. Whoever gets this right is the winner of every game of Divine or Decline so far that we've ever played. It's big.
Well, if it's for the winning, then I have to decline it because, you know, I got to win this one.
Okay. All right. Grana?
It sounds so right, so I'm going to say decline.
Come on.
I'm going to say divine because they didn't.
Okay.
Can I do my
Caleb.
spelling? Can I do my one spelling bee? Repeat the question for me, please.
Yes, you can. Near is the great day of the Lord, near and coming very quickly. 2,000 years. Listen, the day of the Lord. In it, the warrior cries out bitterly.
We'll say divine. I don't know. We'll say divine.
Okay. Daniel.
I've learned that if it sounds biblical, it's crystal. So I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go decline.
Okay. You guys, that was divine. That is Zephaniah 1:14, another weird place to find a verse.
I'm surprised I got
guys-
4 right this
I
time.
have
Crystal. Those
Caleb
were good.
win.
Look, when I heard that, I just thought Jehovah's Witnesses. Like, I just thought a Jehovah's Witness would read this and become a Jehovah's Witness.
For sure.
That was out of
Daniel,
the,
Daniel, when
Did
are
anyone
you
get
going
even
live
5
again?
of those? 'Cause
I
those
got
were
them all
hard.
right, Grana.
Oh,
I got
that's right.
every
I'm sorry.
single-
Crystal. You always get them all right. I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize.
So I grew up on the WTF GTFO translation, so I'm not that familiar with all that stuff. Sorry. I did my best.
Did anybody keep track of how many they got right? How many did y'all get right?
No, I think I did terribly.
I only
I
got
didn't-
4, and last time I got 7. So
You did last
7
time.
was still the best I've ever done by far.
I got all of them right.
Oh,
I don't care
good.
how many times you go back and watch the playback. That
Awesome.
last
I'm
I know.
question was for
impressed.
all the marbles, and Caleb and I won jointly. Thank you.
True,
Perfect.
true.
Obviously.
And we have
I
faith
don't
in that,
think-
and you can't deter our faith.
I think I actually legitimately only got one right. So
Okay, that's awesome.
I think that's 2 more than I got right, Daniel, so good job.
nice.
2 more. I got
good.
1. It's
That's
2
good stuff.
Well, thank you,
Daniel,
Crystal, for having me up.
when do you Thank you,
I'll
Caleb,
head
so
out.
much. Okay, thank you so
All right,
much.
see you guys.
Daniel, when do you go live again?
Well, look, if everything goes my way, I'll get to go live again. It'll be tomorrow morning for all of y'all. It'll be this evening for me, but I'll keep it brief if I do. And then I go live all day Monday. So that'll be for all of you. It'll be from like 4 p.m. to like midnight and a little bit after.
I really like
On
that
Sunday.
hour that you're doing. Oh my God, because I finally get to see you. Used to wake
So
up
good.
and you would just be ending your show every time.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, I need to wake
That's
up
awesome.
earlier.
It's so good. And actually, just to shout out just the community for a moment, if you don't mind. Thank you so much. Oh, don't mind my dog getting excited outside. I just want to thank everyone who's gifted. Like, it's just like, times are tough, but you're still showing up and supporting, and it just means the absolute world to me. We're currently at 29 days worth of full day live streams in the bank, so we'll be cashing in the 29th day on Monday. Just know that everything that I get donated, it just goes towards that. It just goes towards doing a full day live stream every Monday in perpetuity. I don't spend it on fancy cars and hookers and stuff like that. It all goes towards this. So
I do. So if you give me, it will go towards fancy cars and hookers. Okay.
okay, all right.
No,
No,
I'm just
look,
kidding.
it's fair. Nothing wrong with either of these things. Don't get me wrong.
No, right? But yeah, I just like to actually purchase sex workers for men who are lonely on the street. I don't even purchase them for myself. It's kind of like feeding the homeless. That's how I.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm feeding the horny.
it's one step better than the biblical model, at least. At least you're not just taking them prisoner and forcing them
Yeah.
to be your husband or anything. It could be worse, right? So good on you, honestly.
Absolutely. Listen, you guys, next week, August 12th at 11 a.m. Pacific time, I will be live right here on Decon Q&A with CrystalJae with a pink and blue shark, Sarah. So make sure you tune in on the 12th for that. On the 15th, I will be live at 4 p.m. Pacific time with Decon Q&A with CrystalJae and Controversial Compass. I always call him Coco, so every time I say his name, I always forget what his full name is. Also, in September, and I have other people coming up, but locking these creators down to a date and time is difficult. Just ask Daniel. It's been 6 months in the making. But I do have like some other wonderful people coming up. But in September, I want you to know that I have a really special Decon Q&A with CrystalJae. I have Mac Luster, Fee, and Lort all coming to be live with me right here for you guys to come and ask your questions and talk to the three best panelists ever. Okay, like they are by far my favorites. And then September 5th at 11 a.m. Decon Q&A with CrystalJae, special guest Deconstruction Zone, Justin is going to be here. So we've got some great people coming up. Joel will be here soon. Mezzo will be here soon. Joyful will be here soon again. Jaren and Cyber Deconstruction will be here soon. Yeah, make sure you're subscribed. Daniel, that's what I want to ask you. Do you put I know you have a YouTube. I just subscribed to it tonight. Do you put your things on your YouTube? Do you put your videos over there?
I used to. I have maybe like a dozen videos up on my YouTube channel. I am more mindful these days of getting clipped out of context. So I've stopped uploading to YouTube, but I will be setting up ASAP my Patreon. And I want to make it as cheap as possible so that it's as accessible as possible to as many people who are actually, genuinely interested in just watching lives that I upload there. It's just something that happens when you get enough followers, I suppose, is people start just clipping you out of context, and I'm not interested in that. I wouldn't do it to someone else. I hate it that they've started doing it to me. So I don't upload to YouTube anymore, but there is like a dozen. There are like a dozen on there that yeah, by all means go and watch those back, everyone.
Check those out. Check
Yeah.
those out for sure. Well, thank you so much for being here, Daniel. I had such a great time, and I'm really glad we finally got to sit down and chat and that people got to come up and talk with you. You're amazing. You do so much for the community, and I've really enjoyed tonight. I hope that in a few months you'll come back and join me again for another evening or morning Decon Q&A. But thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
It was an absolute privilege. I feel so honored. I feel like this is the big times, you know. You think about those big names out there, like, you know, Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, CrystalJae. Like this is incredible. I'm so thankful. Thank you so much.
You guys all tickle me so much with how sweet you are about my little show, because sometimes I'll go, well, like I get really amazed at some of the big creators who come on my little tiny channel, but it never ceases to amaze me, y'all. Look at that. We got Luigi. Are you at your mansion?
I'm Waluigi. I just wanted to show you this.
Waluigi. That is
Waluigi
awesome. Wait,
the
let me
absurdist.
make you big.
Yeah.
Let me make you big, Lobes.
Right.
Wait, how do I do
Yeah.
that?
Content. This is content.
Oh,
right
wait,
here.
I go like this.
Yeah, anyone who's
go-
not following Lobes, you got to go follow Lobes, man. Don't miss out on that. The upside down L is for Lobes, actually.
I don't know how to do it. I can't do it right now for some reason. Dang it. But that is funny. That is hilarious.
Yeah,
Lobes
I'm at
was
a
my
friend's
guest earlier
birthday
this
party.
week. Oh, that's fun. Brianna, thank you for coming up. I love you. Thank you for being here. Yeah, if you missed Lobes was on earlier this week, make sure you check that out on my YouTube also, because he's amazing, and make sure you're following him and check out his lives. Well, you guys, that's it for tonight. We will see you wherever on the mean streets. Is there somebody live we should raid right now? Because we've got 98 of us still in here. If you guys know somebody we should be raiding, I don't know who's live right now. Is Joel, Mezzo, or anybody live?
At the very least, make sure you follow Lobes. I mean, like, shaving his beard just for the Waluigi costume is huge. I've never seen Lobes without the
Yeah.
full beard. So this
Wow.
is crazy.
It's been years.
This is wild.
My son saw me for the first time today. My son saw me without the beard, and he was shook.
Yeah.
Oh
Is
my
that
gosh,
is that a
I
fake
bet.
mustache? Or did you leave
He
the
was-
mustache?
No, the mustache is gone because I have to glue this to the upper lip. You know.
Oh, wow. You guys, Leaving Faith is live right now. Everybody go raid Leaving Faith with Sarah, and tell her that it's a crystal raid.